We'll see. We'll see the feedback on that, if people like it, if I should continue doing it, or if I should keep them shorter. Running through here. Now I'll be trying to like speed up quite a bit. We're already just in Act 5. We've been going quite a while. Can we get a lightning arrow build guide? Maybe. Yes, this will be my league starter. Just really want something super solid to start with. I know Embu wants me to do Magic Find with him, and then I'd have to play something else, but I don't know what I would play. EA isn't like a super good brick build.
To a good old-fashioned grave?
Don't know what I'd play. Pathfinder something maybe. I don't know how much things like boss carries cost because I haven't played Trade League in so long. I usually play solo self-fun. Here, we're gonna grab the Tomb of the First Templar. There's a recipe here for percentage fist damage. You might as well pick it up. You obviously don't need it for this build, but nice to have. These are jewels. These basically go in your skill tree. You just grab Crimson. Area damage does work for our build. So if I took this skill point, I could put that in there. So if this had 2 damage stats, like say increased damage and area damage, then I would definitely take that now and put it in. Glad to see you're not doing the boss race, but I get it. Yeah. Not that keen with those rewards. They're not really things I'm super interested in. Then I figured I might as well play Trade League. A lot of my friends are playing Trade League, and I think if I go Trade League and a few others, maybe a lot more from chat might be interested in going Trade League, and then we'll actually have a pretty alive economy. That'd be fun. Seen quite a lot of people in chat said they were going to go hardcore as well because of that. Now you'll also notice that things are dropping like stacks of like 3. There is at the bottom of this zone, there is a skill point quest. It's very, very simple. You just basically full clear the zone. I'm going to skip that because I don't need the extra skill point and I just want to rush a little bit. What is Trade League? So that's the normal league, like not solo self-fun. When do you gain Ignite as champion? Probably around level 55, 58-ish.
My spirit is spent.
Is it that and not just that it's unwinnable for all but 3 to 5 people, even if you're a good assistant co? Well, in the last race, I was 3rd. I was literally the one right before Exile and Ben. I mean, right after. Alright, this is Kitava. Oh, I should switch faster attacks. Oh. Very, very scary boss. This is the hardest thing in the campaign. Nothing will be harder than this. And that's because of those slams. They actually do a large amount of damage. Large amount of damage. There, it takes some more life too. This does a really, really bad degens. You want to be careful, and this will sort of slam you. Just a very scary boss in general. Oh. This is why it's really nice on hardcore to overlevel, because once you've overleveled to 48, you're literally one-shotting every phase here, and you don't have to worry about him. The champion of the feast can hurt a bit too. They do like a mean sunder. Only problem with not having LMP on this fight is you saw that I was sometimes not attacking the target you want, because obviously I don't choose what they target. Very mean Katawa. I have a really high ping. I'm not dropping frames though. Has anyone else been having server issues on PoE? Yes, on London. Okay, cool. There. Really want to make sure you don't get stuck in that thing. Oh. See, I'm trying to be very careful with how I backtrack. Alright, now we can take out lesser multiple projectiles, and that was the last phase, and now we're about to lose 30% of all resists. I should have checked that before, I kind of forgot to explain that. I mean, I did explain it earlier. But, see, we can use an alteration on the chest and hope we get an open suffix. And we have on the, let's see, we could try to get better quiver. Whoops, I need to talk to him.
Is this what losing a fight feels like?
Go to Lily. But yeah, now we have lost a bunch of resistances. So just by fixing my chest and my helmet, it should be fine. So we'll just, yeah, that's fine. That is an open suffix now, because life is always a prefix. So now I go to hideout and I craft resist on my helmet and my chest. I'll actually craft up to 20. Of course I hit a bottom roll. A little bit annoying. If I hit 4 more, it would have been fine. We'll craft the cheap lightning resist on the helmet. It's not a very good helmet. Now, to the left here, we have, you should absolutely do that quest. I'm going to skip it. It's just full clear of that zone, and you will be able to buy any gem in the game forever on all your future characters too. Oh, I fucked up. That's why our damage is a bit low. I actually need precision on right now. But I don't have, I was missing 40% damage. So that's the precise technique I was telling you guys about earlier. You need to make sure that the main hand accuracy rating is more. And you could also take the mastery there, that would help. Actually might be able to get away without using precision just by taking the mastery, we'll see. Yeah, we were missing 40% damage, so we'll have a lot more now. It was like those bracelets you put on your arm. We have a lot more damage now. Now my mana is really annoying.
My spirit is spent.
What you could do is as well, instead of determination, you can run Skitter Bots. Doesn't use as much mana and does give you more damage too. Here's Nessa.
He did this
Oops.
to me. The King of Brian. And he wants me to be. Oh God. Please. I don't know how I'm doing this, nor if I may again.
Or Nessa.
Oh, bless my voice.
Let's see. Yeah, I might turn off determination. I have a decent amount of armor with the granite flask anyway, and it's just mana is such a pain early until you use life tap. Such a pain. Let's see. What's my life regen right now? Definitely too little. It's 13. All we have right now is that 1% life regen there. We could run vitality and life tap. Is a bit of a pain too though. 30? Nah, I generally don't run clarity a lot.
Let me teach you the laws.
Random essence. You know what? Join the fight. I'll kill you both at the same time. Speaking of vitality. Don't have to go back to Act 1 and buy one. To be fair, I would get a leveled one in Act 1. You can level one in case I decide to use one. It's always good to have as an option anyway.
Didn't even break
Get the early of this build is a little annoying with like mana, etc. Late game is not a problem obviously because we get life tap. And I try to get a decent amount of life regen. That's why I even like using things like Marble Amulet. I'm a big fan of. I know not everybody likes that because honestly, this league it might be tough because this league we're getting something called tattoos, which will you'll be removing stats from your skill tree. So you might have even more like stat issues than normal. And just run in circles and avoid the flames. Boom. Easy. Grab a ring, see if that's any good. Nope. Looking for life and resist. And obviously, like, it might take you a little bit longer to identify, like, with your eyes, if a item is good or not, but you will get used to it pretty quickly. Like, it's basically just life and resist is all we're looking for. And once we're in, like, the starter maps, we'll be looking for spell suppression. I haven't explained yet. We're 45 and a 46 zone, so we're pretty okay. Normally it would be like 48 here, so we would have even more damage. And as a new player, you might be going even slower, which will make you have even more damage. And like I said, you could use skitter bots at this point as well. The level of skitter bots isn't super important, so if you can level them up a lot, even keeping them in level 1 will be okay.
Can't do this just
You're having low intelligence. How fast that blink arrow is. It's so nice. Absolutely a huge fan. You see so much control over your character too. Wait, what? Wait, is it all the way up? I'm confused. Did I confuse myself? Or was this just a really short layout and I ditched it? I think I've just confused myself and I should have gone up. A weird plateau here. Interesting. When bringing up the four-link bow would be a huge upgrade at the moment. No? We already have a four-link. We already have a four-link. We have a four-link with attack speed. Like, this will be our bow until pretty decent endgame. And like, there's no... Wait, what bow? But yeah, there's no bow that we've found now that would be an upgrade. Like anything like bone, decimation, anything like any other base than grove, thicket, and short bow, no matter what, would always be a huge downgrade. One of the biggest things I see new players messing up is using anything else than those three.
There's a lady in a tower, but this is no fairy tale.
There, we'll pick up the soul fight. Even if you're not going to interact with Delve, it does drop a div card that you can instantly add in that gives you 10 alterations. There's a white grove on the ground. Oh, that doesn't matter. We already have like a very perfect bow. The only thing that could be better would be if we actually found a 4-link bow and it had attack speed and plus 1 or 2 gem levels. That's going to be more relevant at level 50, item level 55? 50? I can't remember right now what level we can start getting 52. Or maybe it's 64. I think it's 64. Item level 64, we're going to start looking at bow upgrades. I'm pretty sure it's 64. Maybe somebody can check. Ow. Good recipe here for double resistances. Very, very important. And then now we're grabbing the trials for Cruel Labs. This is the first one. Okay, now we're gonna go to the left here. Arcanist box. It does have caustic, so we gotta be careful for that. And then we have 2 more trials we need to get, and then we will be able to get our Fortify, which is a huge defensive bonus. Very, very huge. This is another divination card, and what this does is it gives you 17 chromatics, so it's very, very nice to get on day 1. Obviously, we are very short on chromatics, and we do want to get like that curse on hit early. There. And the reason we're using both Blinker and Flame Dash is because they don't share cooldown. So we can just like spam like this. There, Fancy Gem level 9. Did our Explosive Arrow just level up too? Yeah, very nice. We get a big damage boost before these bosses that we're coming up to. Ooh, that's a lot of monsters. We're like mostly starting to ignore more and more gear that isn't like applicable to our build, like axes, etc. That's not interesting for us. Energy shield gear, not very interesting for us. Do need like one evasion energy shield hybrid helmet. We show how to automate fast during this, everything is fine? No, we won't get enough currency to do that. This is something called Abyss. Oh, ow, 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 ow. This is so called Abyss. This is another, used to be a challenge league. And it basically, ow, oh god. It, will give you special jewels. It can give you a special belt. Don't think it can give you a special belt already. And there's like bosses in it. The bosses don't spawn until the end game. But definitely worth doing in maps. I don't bother too much with it early on. Yeah, those are like a homage to Dark Souls. There. Oh yeah, you can spawn students person X now, chat's right. They're also not answering most questions in chat at the moment during this video. There, we're swapping back into faster attacks for the boss. Ow. He's mean. So Chevron's been like resurrected. Oh dear. Gotta keep the frenzies up. And then how are we on accuracy right now? 1770. But pretty soon we will need the mastery. Might as well just take that now. There, now we're at 2000, so we can get another 600 life before it's a problem. Ow. Now we have like quite a lot more damage than we did before. Obviously, over leveling would give you even more. Sometimes I'm like 49, 50 before here. Then you can just run through monsters without ever caring about like staying in the zone and leveling again. There is a recipe here you might as well go grab. But you do automatically have the waypoint to the next zone, so you don't need to do this if you don't care about spell builds. There, we're gonna go grab up here, and then we get Retribution soon, which is gonna be a nice tidbit of damage. Now, there is a side boss to the right and to the left. I think in the measure of speed, we're just gonna bypass him and like ditch him. Can be a little bit dangerous to fight now, so it's actually not a bad thing to wait a few levels and come back to him later. Let's see, a hunter. We do want something that's like energy shield and evasion, so it's not the worst thing to throw an essence on, but it could be a bit of a pain to chrome. And obviously, I do want 2 blues and a green. Would be very nice for me right now. But yeah, we'll just keep running past the boss there. It's pretty straightforward. It does like a few fire damage moves, and it's, especially if you over level a little bit, it's easy peasy because it's not something that's in the line or in the way of your progression. You can come back to that later. But normally I would, ow, talking about burst damage. Normally I would do that later, but since I really want to get to maps and stuff now, well, if I want to get to maps, I also want the skill points. Hard dilemma. Maybe I should just go do it now. You know what? Let's just do it now. It's fine. I'd rather have the power. Why not? We have time. We have time. Doesn't take too much time anyway. Here's an Exile. These are always worth killing. Very, very good source unique items. The rated quiver. And again, always opening every box. Do be careful about opening them unidentified if you don't have freeze removal. This monster has Soul Eater. It gets very, very scary when you kill monsters next to it. They will be some of the most deadly monsters you'll fight. You gotta be really careful about not killing too many monsters close to it. They don't get more rewarding the more you feed them either, so... There, so this is the boss, and just run around in circles. You can swap to faster attacks for it if you want, but damage should be fine. Damage is a little low actually. We are getting, oh wait, actually, there, that'll give me a decent amount of damage. We are getting close to damage nodes, which is going to be huge for us, because we don't really have many right now. There, you know what? Do I bother swapping? No, I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy to swap. Just kind of running away from him, putting totems down, cursing him, and keeping frenzy up. Same as every boss. This is pretty much how we play. Change it a little bit later on. And he's dead, and I'm alive, and we can continue on. And now, we do get 2 skill points right now. We're about to get a third. The Bestel, you have a skill point for me. We're gonna sell. And I'm gonna see if I can get an evasion energy shield helmet. I do have 2 binding orbs, so that'd be very nice. These are all kind of unhelpful. Unless it's crazy, then I might use it. So we're looking for evasion energy shield helmet, and there is none. Very annoying. There is an evasion energy shield glove, so I will just use a binding on that and hope it's usable. It is kind of usable. Maybe I'll throw a random essence on the helmet, hoping to get something good. We didn't get anything good. Okay, what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna try to socket my bow. Nice. And then I just want 1 red. There, this is fine. Do they need to be linked? No, this is perfect. I just wanted to ease the socket pressure a little bit. So maybe screws me a little bit on resist. They have an open suffix. So I'm gonna go to hideout. You can write /hideout. And we're gonna craft cold resist on these gloves. We can just do the cheap one. We don't need the heavy one. And then, let's see. We're going to have Frenzy, X-Touch, Flammability. Now I no longer need to worry about use Flammability at all. Which is really nice, because now while I get my Frenzy charge, I'm also cursing the monster. So that's huge. Okay, we have skill points here. And sure, we're following up at the building. Ow. We're gonna go grab this. Will give us even more resists, making it even easier to gear, and we get a bunch of damage. 36 or 34 more damage, well, increased, and that's be very noticeable right now because we have so little. If we had another green, which would be nice to have a bunch of chromes. Oh, I do have a bunch of chromes. Then we could use the GMP as well. So we'll do that. We'll try to get 2 green, 2 blue. Perfect. Very perfect. And then we'll put faster attacks up here. That's just to make it easier accessible for swapping. Very nice. So now we're like really coming together on socket pressure. Only annoyance in the build right now is that mana is a bit of a pain while we have determination running, which would make us tankier.
I can't do this.
So that's fine. There's expedition. It's a bit of a explanation. Basically place bombs down and it'll give you different rewards. There will be some things that'll make the monsters immune to your damage, so you have to read. A bit of a pain. I do have an in-depth explanation video on pretty much every league mechanic. If there's something you think looks fascinating to you. I have like a few videos that just very briefly, actually I have a perfect video we should link in this video that goes over every single league mechanic and briefly explains. And that way you can like, I also do like a quick TLDR if it's worth specializing into or understanding more. And then you can watch like the in-depth video, because obviously most mechanics in Path of Exile can have anywhere from like a 20 minutes to an hour explanation each. So, and there's so many mechanics in Path of Exile that yeah, it really adds up quickly in time. Do you have an extra spare blue slot? I think I will go get Skeeter Balls to get a little bit more damage early. And with my granite up all the time, I feel like my damage is pretty good anyway. Now you can see that on this boss, it is cursing the boss Rasthatha whenever I use my frenzy now. So that's one less thing to worry about, like one less button. We'll give you another button later. Nice. We'll pick up the helmet because that could be an upgrade, right? It's a very similar type of helmet to what I'm currently wearing. And I don't have any crazy socket pressure that the helmet needs to relieve, right? It's not a 4-link or anything. Didn't drop anything nice, relieve for life, and resist. Nothing good there. Right, normally I would be able to buy Skitter Belts here because I would have done the side quest that unlocks all the gems. Since I don't, I'm gonna go back to library, talk to Seosa, and buy Skitter Belts here. We'll just put that in the weapon. And again, do remember, it doesn't matter where you have things. We're gonna go back to Riverway. So now what this does is it shocks and chills enemies, making them take more damage. This is a Wailing Essence of Greed. That's really, really good. That's gonna be like 40 guaranteed life on one piece of gear. So if I get like a helmet that would bother slapping that on, that would be huge. Now as you can see, this is 2 essences, so the monster is actually pretty tanky. It's also got life regen. It's scary. And the more essences are in a monster, the scarier it'll be. At the end game, you can encounter monsters with like 5, 6, 7 essences in them. And that's some of the most dangerous things in the game. What side quest unlocks Lily? The one all the way to the left there that we mentioned when we were entering Lioness Watch. Just have to full clear a zone. Here's another new mechanic called Delirium. You'll go through the mirror and enter a different world. It'll add a few monsters. And the further you go away from the monster or the mirror, the more difficult, the more tanky everything will get. It'll start dropping things called cluster jewels. This is literally build your own skill tree. So if you didn't think the skill tree was complicated enough as it is, you can expand on it and roll your own parts of the skill tree. You see in the bottom left, it is giving me like more and more rewards, and I like to try to get to 4 rewards. My builds are usually like, it's very, very easy to get that. And then once I get to 4, I mean, during the campaign, it can be hard to get to 4, but once I get to 4, I'll usually play B, which is the hotkey I set to end Delirium. Don't know if it has a default key. You'll notice now that it's like pretty deep in. They're pretty rippy and harder. Be quite a lot tankier. And you see you get a bunch of rewards, including a feathered arrow quiver, which could be a huge upgrade for us. We don't care about the cluster jewels. I'm not even going to bother picking those up because there's nothing they can drop right now that would be interesting to us. They would only be interesting at like a high level. This thing is very scary, the crystal thing. It's exploding crystals when hit. So when this thing dies now, it'll do huge explosions. And you'll see a lot of streamers die to that. Have I ever died to it? I don't think so. So on this bow, we would have picked it up because it's a highborn bow, so it's only 0.5 the normal, like slower than normal. So it is quite nice. And it'd be really good
His time has almost come.
if it had a good one, like plus gems and attack speed. Another Delirium. This is a bit of a pain zone to have Delirium in, because you can see it's so like, we don't have anything to go through monsters yet. And you see that the monsters are like getting me stuck quite a lot. Okay, we'll go up here for the essence. We also want that. So I'll just end it here. And every essence, even like, no matter what it is always a good thing, because worst case scenario, it's like a bad alchemy. This is like very tanky though. And there's a random unique in there. Here you can see how tanky some essences can be. Like, we killed that unique very, very fast. The essence is still going. The essences can be very, very tanky. And there are some batches where it was even stronger and people would be very like demoralized about their build because they'd be like one-shotting map bosses. They get to an essence mob and be like, okay, I'm here for like 10 minutes now. The hell. And you notice that even during the campaign that they are like a lot more powerful than any other monster. And this can be combined with the bestiary mechanics. You could be an essence beast and they'll be some of the tankiest things you will encounter in the game. Even tankier than in-game bosses. There, we're gonna go to the waypoint here. We might as well go vendor. Our inventory's a little full, and I want to see if there's a feathered arrow quiver for sale. I do still have an essence of woe, and I would love getting like a really nice one. Let's see, we do have to pick that up. Put it into my inventory a little bit. There, any quiver? No, nothing. That's fine. This is a stack deck. It'll give you a random divination card. Didn't give us anything nice. And we can just like empty out our inventory a little bit, and then we're gonna go back to mapping. Well, let's see, and now we're gonna go up here, and the thing that we really want to get is elemental overload. This means that we don't need to worry about accuracy in the same way. We still do want accuracy because we're hitting, but we're not relying on 40% of our damage being behind that accuracy. So you're obviously seeing that we're soon gonna run out. I'm gonna run out, and then we could actually stop worrying about running precision and stuff. Without precision right now, we still have 100% chance to hit. So a lot of time I ditch precision. Just depends on having enough accuracy. So once we get elemental overload, instead of precise technique, you can't have both. They'll cancel each other out and do nothing. But once you get elemental overload, what that does, it'll add like a little diamond on our skill down here. And it'll also give 40% more damage, but it's just based on having critical hit recently. And it's any of your totems doing a critical hit will count for all of them. So since we're firing so many arrows, we're pretty much always having that critical hit, giving us that 40% more multiplier as a permanent uptime. Really, really good. Very, very nice pace on this build too. Like, it's actually like very fast. Boom. Life and mana level 2. Always got to remember grabbing the recipes. And now you might have noticed that things are starting to drop in stacks. That is like a fairly recent thing. That wasn't like too long ago that that got added. And it was really nice because before things would just be dropping in stacks of 1. And you'd have to do a lot more clicks. Whoops. And then we're not too far away from getting a 4th totem. That's like maybe within like 8 levels or something like that. That'll be a big boost as well. Basically 25% more damage for 33. I remember, math is hard. This area, if you're playing with a friend, you can have one person do the left one and one person do the right one. It's a bit of a boring area. Nobody really likes escort quests in pretty much any game, I think. Bit of a pain. What's the difference between a damage multiplier and a flat damage increase? So if it says like 16% increased damage with fire, for example, that is very different than let's say 30% more fire damage. That's because more is multiplicative with itself and increased is additive with itself. So if you're getting 15% there, 15% there, that's adding up to 30, whereas if you're getting 15% more, 15% more, then it's 15% more multiplied by 15% more. So it's huge. You can blink down here and just do a little skip. I'm getting a surprising amount of unique items, none that are useful, but... Do we know if we'll encounter the league mechanic in Act 1 to 5? Every league mechanic will always be from the very, very first thing, from the beach. They always do that on every, like, whenever it's the active league, whenever it's the main mechanic, it's always from Act 1. Now, not every league mechanic is good early. Normally, I wait till around level 8 to 13. And then that is like a good spot to start doing it because you'll have some more damage, more mobility, etc. But like some things like delirium and stuff were like really good early. Right now I am in Act 6. Why do you need me? For anything? And now we're gonna be coming up on the Brine King. Gotta find his little hole. You're telling me I'm going to spawn with a lower back tattoo? So you won't spawn with a tattoo, and I don't know how common they are. But you will have to like put them voluntarily on yourself.
I can't do this just yet.
I just run into like every dead end. I did. There. There we go. Now you can actually cheese this boss's like middle stage by portaling out. There's not really a big reason to do that when you have a strong build, but if you do have a weak build or very low on lightning or cold resist, you could do that. I don't bother though. It's faster not to.
Really, we are both so touched by your generosity.
Or an Essa. Whenever the boss slams like that, like just blinking through it is generally pretty safe. So this stage, you could just portal out, come back in, and stand still, and the face will continue going while you're in your invulnerability period, as long as you haven't moved or touched your keyboard. Oh. Ow. Now soon we're actually going to be experiencing the lab as well, and will be very powerful for the first lab because it doesn't do anything on this build, right? So we're just going to rush through that. It's not bad to do it early just to get a bunch of loot if you're feeling weak and give you some currency and stuff, but I like waiting until you're ready to do both and then get a huge upgrade. You're going to be noticeably tanky. And again, same as this for every boss. I will like repeat it now and again, but it's just run in a circle, don't backtrack. And eventually our totems are going to be taunting for us, so monsters will actually attack our totems. It's a really big part of the tank for the build, and this build was actually bugged in the past where we were missing 10% mitigation because of a wording error. So that's been fixed now supposedly. So this build is stronger than lastly. And then with things like tattoos, that should be really good. And maybe there'll be new unique items.
My spirit is spent.
That'll be good for this build too. Ow. Leather belt, that could be good. We don't have a good belt right now. We'll pick up the rusty as well, just in case. Even though it doesn't have a good implicit, which is like the physical damage, the life, etc. Like if it has really good explicit stats, so like the life, etc., then that could be really good. We'll pick up the regicide mask. We'll pick up soldier boots. Like, I'm a big fan of picking up almost every boot. Didn't they get rid of the totem taunting? Not from champion. Not from champion. They got rid of a mastery. Let's see. Life, reduced fast charges, and has open suffix. That's quite good. We don't actually need to craft anything right now. We might as well just craft lightning, the cheap one. Identify everything else. Nothing really good here. I'm just skimming through looking for life and resist. There. Okay, now we're going to press U and turn on Pantheons. I'm going to do Rislata and Brine King are the ones we want right now. We're going to put lesser multiple protect else back in and then just sell everything else. That is really good. I'd rather have the reduced fast charges. If this was on a life belt, this would be super nice. Honestly, it's kind of tempted to keep for if in a pinch we need resists, because this is an open suffix. So it has
Till
like
next time,
70
shall we
resist. So
keep
we'll put that
saving?
in the bank and we'll keep moving. And we're getting very, very close to actually being able to send. That'll be very exciting. We have a bunch of damage, a bunch of tank. And there is a quest here that gives you a flask. So we can get a quartz flask. And we're going to downgrade so we only have one life flask. That is a little intimidating for new players. So you don't have to do that. But I really like it. I don't think you need more than one life flask. But there's nothing wrong with having two. And especially for some bosses and for lab, you really do want to have two. How's our regen right now? 30. I hate how little regen this build gets early. Such a pain. You could run Vitality and do life tap that way and then free up a mana flask. I sometimes do that. Depends what I'm feeling like. It's a bit of a pain. Your damage is really, really nice now. Everything is just dying behind us. We're just throwing down a totem now and again. And blasting. Gonna pick up the waypoint there and then go southeast. I missed the Vitality Mastery. Yeah. Pretty good level to be before heading into maps. Depends. On hardcore, a lot of people get like 70 or 72. On softcore, like 65 to 68 is fine. Especially on this build, you get so much defense that even if you're low life, you'll be very, very tanky on this build because of the fortifying. Like, it's meant to be for melee, but champion gets it, and that's why champion's been such a like power ascendancy for such a long time. Because even bow characters can get something that's meant as a melee defensive thing. The expedition good to go first in SSF? SSF is taken quite often. Normally people do Essence first and then expedition. But yeah, expedition's very, very popular as an early thing. This is something called Heist. So all you have to do to interact with this is click it and then pick up the stuff that drops. And it'll be like a different area that you go to. You can stand in town and you right click one of these rogue markers and it'll open up an area. Here's another trial that we got to. And Heist is incredibly rewarding. A lot of people run that early league. And again, here we're in another trial. And you can see that I'm just like using my momentum to just blast through the trial. The trial doesn't have anywhere near enough surface area to actually kill me.
So that all may find you when the night falls.
And then now we need to find the next area, which is like a little exit like this. And then we're going to find a little map here. So it'll be our first map. Just a quest map though, not actual in-game. Here, we might as well kill the essence. I generally will kill every essence. Sometimes I'll ditch one if it's just taking forever. 2 blue, 2 green, but it doesn't have any good stats. Now, there is an orb we haven't found yet called an Orb of Scouring that will make an item white, and you can use an alchemy on it or craft it again. There is another orb we haven't found yet called the Orb of Regal, which will turn a blue item rare. That's very rare early.
Touching this makes
Very rare. There, talk to Aramir. No, Whalem. We'll grab a quartz flask here. Quartz is huge. And we're not really using this for the suppression. We're using this for being able to run through things. I'm going to throw an alt on it to make sure it has decent stats. There. Now we're good. Yeah, generally if people in chat can help answer questions, that'd be amazing. I'll pick some out if it's like super relevant to the video. There. Lamb now, so we need another trial before we do lamb. Do we need this? We don't need this. And now we can get rid of precise technique. Boom. So now we don't technically need accuracy anymore. We could run vitality, which would put us 80 life regen. It's a bit low. We can just keep this. Do we need the accuracy? We generally don't. I'm okay with mana with skill bots. I mean, I could run Termination and
My
Precision.
spirit is spent.
But now you'll see that I have the Quartz Fast and I can run straight through enemies. You'll notice I won't get stuck on things as often. And it's so nice. It's such a big part of your defense. Such a big part of your defense.
Hello to you, great dreamer.
Hello, Silk. Map device. Throw the quest item in, Malagros map, and then grab the recipe here.
Where am I?
Yeah, not getting stuck is amazing. I'm gonna turn off precision just to have more mana. It's just so comfy to have a bunch of mana. And obviously we're not in dire need of anything really while in the campaign. It's pretty strong. And we are about to get fortified. I'd rather just have a bunch of mana. I don't have to press my flask as often, especially nice for boss fights, obviously. Don't get as many charges back. There, we're just running through this zone looking for the
I
boss.
can't do this just yet.
And we should have a decent amount of damage now. You'll also notice that the elemental overload is on. You'll see that little diamond. That means that it is on, and it is skill specific. So if I have it on frenzy, that doesn't mean that it's on explosive arrow. It should be up pretty much all the time, especially the more totems you're getting. At the end game, when we have 6 totems, there's a 0% chance it's not up all the time. Really good. And we could swap out for faster attacks here. It's not like we're killing multiple enemies. Really, really good damage now. If you do find a 6 thing early, maybe consider not using it. Maybe do a 5 thing. You would have some mana issues and like spam your mana flask quite a lot, I think. Like a 6 thing is not always the best thing you can find early. Best thing would be like Full Rain is insane. A really, really nice bow is okay. You see like how tanky we are, and we don't even have Fortify yet. So we're about to be like so much tankier. So much
Two from the
tankier.
artist, but who's got-
And again, if you do want to pick up and like keep a inventory full of rares and stuff, not a problem, but it will end up slowing you down quite a lot. Not like literal movement speed wise, just, you know, the fact that you're going to town a lot. So the last trial is here, and then we can do our normal and cruel lab, and we're about to get the huge boost. Be really nice. We can pick up that leather belt, and we don't have an amazing belt right now. We could throw a random essence on it. We might as well throw Essence of Rage on it. Without an open suffix, it would be okay, because it would have like 70 life and more resist. Oops. Again, momentum through traps and just blinking past everything, just they do nothing, as you can see. It is harder when you're a new player, obviously you're a lot more scared. And do a quick like go over of my gear before we ascend as well, so everyone's like caught up on what links we're using, etc. Make that easy and stuff to figure out. Another Chaos Orb. Another Essence. We're gonna start like running past things now, because we have so much stuff. Generally, you always want to kill every Essence, it's always worth it. Nice to just put on a ring or amulet, etc. And then the main reason I really love using Blink Arrow is because you see the Flame Dash. We even when we do have a decent amount of int and have upgraded it, it's so slow. Whereas like Coil Rain, sorry, not Coil Rain, a Blink Arrow is just like such a fast recovery. It's like always up, and we're always just like blinking away. Oh. So this infected a rare monster now, so if I kill that, they'll get a decent amount of loot. Although it is very, very tanky. The Ghost makes it tankier, and bears
My
are pretty
spirit is
tanky.
spent.
Oh, and as life regen. Life regen is a massive pain. Nothing good there. The bows that it dropped is not something we're interested in pretty much no matter what it rolls. Even if it rolled +2, which it can't already. That wouldn't be interesting. We are that reliant on our attack speed. It's super important for the build. That is why it's the #1 thing I see new players mess up. There, we're gonna move through, and now we're going into the Ashen Fields. We're gonna kill a little mini boss, and then we're gonna ascend. We'll get another skill point from that, and I think we have one more to pick up somewhere. Intuitive, like, is, yeah. There, we're just gonna move to the boss. Put in faster attacks again. Is a bit of a pain to swap, but I won't have to do that forever. Do you think losing the totem taunt will affect EA, or will it not be noticeable? You don't lose totem taunt. You are mistaken. The only thing that was removed is a mastery that we don't use in this build. This is Groost. As we're running around him. A little bit of a tanky boy. They're all gone, and we can now ascend. We get a bunch of skill points. Now we do want 2 life flasks for this, because not necessarily for the normal lab, but for the second lab. I'm gonna ditch the granite flask and have a second life flask. Let's see, we can grab some boots here,
Yes,
red and blue, that's fine. Nothing
There's
good on that. We don't, well, I mean, I might as well take it and show you. Like a little side quest, I think he gives you an amulet. Not 100% sure.
End of learning.
Amulet here, this is insane. Absolutely insane. Fire damage, and this is okay. You can't have flat fire. You can have percentage. Right, and then we're gonna go hideout, and we're gonna craft fire resist on that. And now we'll be using the alchemy craft, because this is an amulet we'll be using for quite a long time. 25 fire resist, very good. There, and now let's look at the path of building. We could grab this for accuracy, attack speed, and cast speed. We don't really need that right now. We're gonna go straight for the +1 totem. Depends like how you are on stats. Obviously, it gives you dexterity, which you might be getting low at some point.
You
Depends on your gear.
before the gates of the Lord's labyrinth. Within these walls.
So first, normal lab. This will be very fast, and the strategy for this is just run to the top. It's pretty much always the top. And it's very nice to have the quartz in handy, so you don't get stuck on anything.
I can't do this just yet.
Yeah, we're just running. This is now level 33 zone, so this is like free. We're not gonna get much reward here. We can get reward from some tests at the end. This is very similar to the trials that you've been running through, right? Just bigger.
The end of the some things that slumber should never be awoken.
Why do you not want flat fire on EA temp? That was explained earlier. For elemental equilibrium. It's also explained in the build guide. Right, so the way this works is if I don't kill the thing that is beaming, he will get more powerful, but he will also give me an additional treasure key for the end. And if you go to pewelab.com, that gets updated every day with what Izaro has. So he has 3 different weapons. He either has a mace, a dual wield, or he has a shield and sword. And the dual wield can be quite rippy. It has a wind slash. So does the shield, but it does less damage, I think. The mace is the easiest. It's like almost impossible to die to the mace's arrow. But the other things he does can be like a little bit rippy. And there's quite a lot of different Izaros. There's like 6 or 7 different things. . And you see we're just like blinking through everything. I remember the first time I did lab, I was going so slowly using blink arrow and just like very purposefully like, oh, I don't want to die here. But it really just gets just so much easier once you just rush through it. And yeah, the projectile minion that the goddess spawns can be like pretty shotgunny and rippy as well. This is basically same thing. If I don't destroy them, we'll eventually get a buff. But they do need to be fully powered, and my explosive arrow strays are hitting them, so he won't be fully powered from that. I do actually want him to be fully powered because the keys that he gives is quite nice. And there is, and this is worth mentioning even though you're a new player, because it can happen to new players. You can get something called a grand spectrum from doing lab, from the chest at the end. And some are cheap, but some are incredibly expensive, like +1 minimum endurance charge, fancy charge, power charge. Those are expensive, maximum life, etc. Like some of these can be very, very expensive and are super sought after. So if you do encounter one as a new player, that like can happen. It's probably 1 every 30 runs or something, so they're not incredibly rare. Incredibly rare to get a good one though. If you did open PoE Lab and take a gander at that, you'll see some areas will have a red D. That stands for Dark Shrine, and it will be like a hidden area with a lever or a button you can press. And that'll give you like a buff. It can also give you an extra enchant. That's like a little buff for your gear. There's no enchant in the first lab. It's just a glove enchant that most people don't bother with. But in the crew lab onwards, you start getting boots, then helmet, and the helmet enchants that we get later on will have a very good buff. Can be pretty random.
No two battles are alike.
There's nothing we really need on rare gear here. You can pick it up and sell for alterations, of course, but we're hoping for a grand spectrum like we just got. This is not a very good one. It's like 1 in 25 or something to get a grand spectrum. So this one's not really worth anything. Now we're going to ascend as a champion, and we're going to take the unstoppable hero first. This does nothing right now. Nothing at all. We simply got one. We simply got one. We'll try to get another one now to show you like an expensive one. That'd be cool. Reset the run. Well, I'm not using it. We're just sitting there in inventory. And now we're straight back into it. And now it is item level 55. So now we're under leveled, and this is actually a dangerous area now. So now we could actually die. We're obviously on standard, so it doesn't matter if we die. There's no penalty for dying. On softcore, relatively no penalty. Whereas on hardcore, you lose your character. You do not lose your stash though. Since you will be playing trade, would you be trying to sell that? I don't know if anyone would buy the critical strike transporter and spectrum one, especially not early. But the other ones are very important. And every lab has a recipe.
Close to the essence of an empire must be shared equally among.
I'll swap just in case I'm a little bit low on damage, because I am under leveled and stuff now. This is now a sword and shielded Zaro, so he will do the wind slash. And we do have that little fire elemental that is walking towards him. Once the fire elemental walks inside him, he will absorb it and get a damage buff. So it's a bit of an annoying thing. You could just kill them. Oh no. Okay, well I might as well kill all of them then.
Inexhaustible.
Damn it. Okay, I only managed to kill one, so he does get quite a buff now. I was hoping to kill either none or all of them. We can just keep faster attacks. I can't be bothered swapping. I'm very, very lazy with swapping. Lazy swapper. There, and then you'll see there's loads of levers and stuff like that for like a hidden passage. Well, it's not really that it's hidden. You do need to go there to progress.
I can't do this just
I
yet.
guess you could go all the way to the left. That'd be annoying though. And we're just making our way through. Yeah, and momentum so big for just like not having to deal with shit. You'll see that I'm like clicking the tablet. It shows you where you're about to go And if it's not like in a straight line, then I'm probably going to choose not to go there. Right now I'm running precision and skitter. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about my gear setup and everything just in case that we look over it. Perfect. How likely is it for Zizran to get a 4th mirror? So mirrors are very rare. Out of all my real life friends like Karn, Nugi, Steel, I think between them they have 50, 60, maybe 70,000 hours played, and none of them have a mirror. I have 3. It's very, very RNG over long hours. Also depends what you're doing. If you're playing like softcore trade and super juicing, you can get them easier. Right, okay, so this is what our skill tree looks like. This is exactly like the path of building. Our bow, the attack speed, it's the only stat we care about here. The lightning damage isn't bad, but we already have that on other things. Our gloves is just for the resist, and you know, we're caring a lot about sockets at the moment, like making sure I have all these gems. Very, very important. Rings quite nice, resist, life resist, and attack speed. Attack speed's huge. Percentage fire damage, really, really nice. And then life and dual resistance is huge amulet. Okay helmet, whatever chest. Very bad belt. Quite nice boots, just the fact that it has 25 movement speed. And very mediocre quiver.
The Emperor beckons, and the world
I don't know, I already ID'd that. Like 3 more levels, and I get my 4th totem. I probably wouldn't normally have that before ascending. I'd probably be like, I don't know, maybe I would be ascending right now.
You are condemned.
So this one is basically, if you destroy the portals, then they'll stop spawning. I usually just leave them up. They give fast charges, and they're not that annoying. I was just trying to blink through him once he starts wind slashing.
Such
He's usually aiming at you. He does sometimes aim at your totems too.
This empire remains filled.
And now we're about to get that
emperors in
huge,
waiting.
huge buff. And then with the new league mechanic, there will be tattoos that will help buff the build. Like we can get +1, is it int temps? Dex temps? Dex temps, I think. That we can tattoo onto a dex node. That'll definitely be useful, I think. When we have a dex node reachable, yeah, here. So that'll be 1 point for +1 gem level, so that's huge. Oh. Could be loads of good stuff, and then maybe there'll be new uniques that we haven't seen yet. See those tomorrow probably with like data mining. Oh god. That was scary. That was the Ice Nova Artisan with also freeze. So I had to use my freeze potion to like get out of that. Trying to kill everything here because I'll get a bunch of like blacksmith whetstones and armor scraps from opening this, and that'll be a bunch of things that I can sell if I want to, or wisdom scrolls. Nice. Over here. Generally, top right is mostly the way to go.
Can't do this just yet.
Straight path. No. Then we have to go to the left. And then it'll be here. And I'll say trial. Explosive arrow just leveled up as well, so we get a nice damage boost for the last one, and then we are about to get an even bigger damage boost.
Is the most devious trap of them all.
Because we're about to get 20% attack speed, and we're about to get something called Fortify.
You are
Fortify is a
relentless.
huge defense buff. Ow. Gotta dodge a little bit here. The Dark Shrine things that I mentioned can make it quite a lot easier. So if you're new to lab, finding a Dark Shrine can be quite nice. Might have to full clear the zone when you're new because you don't really know where they spawn, and they're in different spots all the time. If you do die in lab, you do have to do it over again. We got 2 keys. Do we another run spectrum? No. That would have been fun. People would have been upset. Altar of Ascendancy, and now boom! Now we have 20 fortification. We're so tanky right now. Get a nice damage boost from the attack speed, and we can put regen on the boots. Now, if you fuck up and you put a glove enchant that does like fire damage or something, you can go to your craft bench, put your glove in there and click remove enchant. You don't have to scour the item, anything like that. You just remove the enchant. Those are quite nice.
You getting there?
Those are quite nice boots. We'll look over those to see and show why they were nice. So these have an open suffix for resist, and they have 25 movement speed and 65 life. We can use that at 55. I should sell the ground spectrum as well. Robocy, not going to use that.
Don't do anything I would.
Why are you still standing there?
Didn't need to talk to her. And now we can keep moving on to the northern forest. We can get to Girthkull. Gives us a skill point. Nice 7, almost iron 8, and we can now put the granite back in. There's like a side area here. Also be like a quest. Dread Thicket, we're back. This is where we got the hideout, but now the zone has changed a bit. So we need to find 7 fireflies in here. We're gonna kill Girthkull. She is fairly dangerous, to be honest. Our build is pretty strong now, and now we're very tanky. However, one of the big downsides of this build's tank is it's not very good against damage over time, which she does have. That'll always be a weakness of this build, and I'd say like a lot of people, if you die on hardcore on this, it's most likely gonna be to damage over time. It's just a big weak point for the build. So there are usually holes in builds. Like the Callous Mask. Mine getting a new helmet. I don't have the best one. And that's normally how I decide for what to pick up and stuff. Like if I know that I have a really good boot, right? Well, actually I always pick up boots. But if I know I have a really good helmet, then I probably don't care about picking up new helmets. Because statistically, I'm probably not going to find a better one already in the campaign if I already have a really good one. So like, say I had a helmet right now with 60 life, 23 fire resist, 22 cold, and an open suffix. That's very hard to beat. Blazing Arrow Quiver would be a bad quiver because it has flat added fire damage. Are you playing SSF right now? So I'm just on normal standard right now, but I'm not trading or playing with anyone else. So yeah, I'm effectively SSF. We're just doing this to teach. So this is a whole fresh account. And we're just playing solo. I will be playing in Trade League for a change. See how that feels. See, that's not a very important beast. We can remove the quest thing on the right. I really don't like it, and I'm kind of showing you anything you need anyway. Go back out here. Yeah, I'll be playing Hardcore Trade. Kind of cool, so a lot of people have said they're kind of considering doing hardcore trade because a bunch of streamers are going hardcore trade. She'll be done by day 6. Depends what I want to do. I usually just like trying builds. But killing the Uber Pinnacle bosses, yeah, I'm usually done by day 6. Uber Pinnacle bosses is like at the end game there's bosses, and they've added like super hard versions of the bosses. Which on softcore normally takes me around 16 hours after league start, and on hardcore takes like a week. For me, I like 4 days. Depends if I'm racing or not. It was 4 days when I was racing. This, those circles on the map is called Incursion. They are a pretty okay mechanic. It's like build your own dungeon. A little bit different than Delve. You basically can finish building it and then run it later, and there can be really cool rewards like a bunch of currency, etc. So they are worth running, familiarizing yourself with. I have some in-depth guides for that as well. What about Ruthus? How long would it take you? I don't know if I could kill all the bosses in Ruthus. I think you could only do that with the build that we had last league that got removed from the game. I don't think I could do all the Uber Pinnacle bosses in Ruthus. I do want to think about playing Ruthless with like Steel and a few other friends this league if they're down. But I wouldn't do that as an SSF thing. I don't think that sounds super fun. Garrus Lockbach for one more skill point. Alright, we're getting close to that skill point. Ancestral Bond. I missed the hand in for this. It's like a little altar. If you find it, you can just click it. You don't need to spawn the monsters. Or like fight the monsters it spawns. But I should have clicked it. Bunch of monsters here. And this zone is a bit of a pain. But it only has 3 locations really. It only has like 3 zones. So it's either like I just ran and checked for the middle to see if it was in the middle. And when it's not in the middle, it's on the far left. Unless there's a big chasm, then it's far right straight ahead. So there are only 3 zones in this. So while it does seem very daunting and a bit of a pain to figure out for people, at least it doesn't have like 20. You doing a practice run? No, I'm doing something called an Everything Explained. So this is where I explain for new players how to play as if you were a new player. Sorry, I just grabbed a snack because it's pretty long.
Here our ways divide. So, keep your wits about you.
Greetings. Farewell.
Now we get Ancestral Bond, which gives me 1 more totem. Huge damage boost. Huge damage boost. Means that I can't do damage myself anymore. Doesn't really matter for us build, our build. Because we're only doing totems. Enjoy your meal. It's just like a protein cracker. I'll most likely try sadism for you. I'll be playing this build only, so you can just watch me play and see how I like it. I hit it or not. I'll be streaming for hopefully like somewhere between like 22 to 30 hours on the start. We'll see. That's how I feel. Definitely getting harder to do long streams when I'm getting older. I've been trying to get in better shape though, so hopefully that'll help too. But doing like 40-hour streams has been harder. Nom nom nom.
This goddess of lust better be worth it.
+1 gem tattoo would be nice. The restoration ones too. Yeah, no, I'm definitely noticing less energy as you get older. I'm 34 now. I got soon 35. I'm soon 35. That's terrifying. Oh, that's really uncomfortable. I'm halfway to 70. Ugh. Kill the next boss, which is called our Kali, and then I'm gonna take a quick toilet break. Hope so you can skip that while watching on YouTube. Now you're really starting to see with the 4 totems, you see how smooth it is. Like we have really, really good damage. It's just mopping up everything. And we're actually getting pretty close to being able to start getting some sort of ignite stuff. That's part of the next thing that we're going to do. So by the time we are... I think it's by the time we're like 60 something, we might have ignite. Okay, there. So I won't even bother swapping faster attacks now, and it should be like really, really nice damage. Oh, I hate when she goes down. You know what? I am swapping faster attacks. Screw it. Especially if she's gonna go down. There, I'm going to assign Purity of Flesh. A nice little knife node. Can't even see that she's cursed. Where on earth is the icon? Really weird on large bosses. Okay, poor Silk got eaten by the spider that he loves. You can actually see Silk's head is hanging off her. If you get Quill Rain, you still need faster attacks? No, and if you're using Skitterbots, you can use Hypothermia because the enemy is chilled. Even though you're not doing cold damage, it doesn't matter.
My spirit is spent.
The exit to Act 8 is now open, and obviously we instantly have Act 8, so we can just TP out. Broadhead Arrow Quiver, this is really good, but sadly it's on a blue, so we don't have Regals. The orb I told you exists that we don't have yet.
Greetings.
That's sad. We can check the vendor, see if there's any quivers. That's a thicket bow. So, on a lot of builds, you just want the best base, which for most cases would be the thicket bow. But it has such a high dex requirement, so generally I put on my filters that I'm looking for a short bow or a rove bow, because we don't benefit from the additional physical damage, and it doesn't have any other benefits. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Feel free to skip it on YouTube. I'll be right back. I'm back. I am back. Right. Act 8. See, it hasn't been too slow actually. I thought it would do. I feel like I've explained. I don't know. I mean, it'll be better for people that have watched the past ones, but I feel like everything explained has been better than the past ones. We're just gonna mow through Act 8 now. Obviously, we're getting through most of the things that we have to explain. They'll just get easier and easier to do. But if anyone has feedback for how this is being compared to past ones, this has been I feel like it's been pretty good pace, and we'll actually get to do maps. That should be interesting to see how people like. Yeah, we're uploading this right after. I'm on DX12. I love it. And obviously there will be Trying to think what we can explain while we're doing this. So right now we're doing really, really good on gear, and you'll see that this bow that we found super early, and you could find something like this already at level 11 or 13, because all we need is that attack speed, right? That's the number one thing we want. I thought it'd be longer, especially with the amount of boxes you cleared in Act 1 too. Yeah, so it's so slow early on. But I don't know. I feel like I guess I just sped up really fast. It's also I thought it'd be slower because I haven't played PoE in 2 months, 3 months. No, won't be live, Grease. He'll be on YouTube. How will lab be with this? So we just did lab. It's very, very easy. It's not my favorite Uber lab farmer. You can't die to a Zaro, but it doesn't have crazy regen either. I try to get somewhere between 400 and 700 regen at the endgame on this, and now you'll really, really see how nice that phasing is, right? I'm just running through everything. This is like tight corridors, and I'm not getting stuck on anything. And because of the pace of the build, oh, very nice. It's like a teaching moment. Because of the pace of the build, I'm able to just like run through everything. So this corrupted a bunch of items. Corrupted can change items in weird ways. It can add a new implicit. So for example, this is the implicit 12 cold and lightning res. It can change that. It can break the item. It could 6-link it, but it'll also completely change it. So don't do it on a rolled item, and you never Valor to 6-link something. It's never gonna happen. And it can level up gems. But yeah, it can also like break the item, and you can't change it anyway afterwards. Well, you can a little bit with your crafting bench. You can change like sockets, but it does cost Val Orbs. So be careful as a new player. You don't really want to use Val Orbs. Right. So those things that dropped. That is a like monsters can get like random rewards. It's sort of baked in from the old Arch Nemesis system, where they'll like select a reward from a pool. So one of the things was like talked about that you get a bunch of gem XP. Another one is every item that drops from the monster is fully linked. Another item is every item that drops is fully socketed. So you could get a bunch of 6-links. We'll always every league start to see a bunch of clips of people getting really, really lucky and getting like 5 to 10 6-links early on in a league. Obviously feels really, really good. You get rich and get all the items you need, right? And then this was like that it corrupted all the items, and corrupting it made some of them 6-socketed. So once you find a 6-socketed item, I will now be vendoring those for 7 jewelers each, which is nice because that's a bunch of jewelers for me to like start out in maps with. Sign pelt will pick up. That is a evasion helmet. It could be decent for me. Regicide helmet, lacquered helmet. I do want all of those. Okay, I'll at least check one of them. Oh, that's very good. That's huge. It's a good thing. Wow. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, I don't care about that. We're not gonna do a heist in this. They're insane, all of them. So, okay, interesting. Oh, I was playing with faster attacks instead of lesser multiple attacks. This is a very hard boss. So, thing you want to do here, you guessed it, run around, don't backtrack. But, more than that, what you can do, especially if you're kind of low on damage, is you can push that lever. As soon as he does that jump, you want to move, and then go back to circles. Now, I do have enough damage that I don't need to, but I'll show you anyway. Because a lot of people don't know that you can click that valve, and it'll like remove her debuffs. So she can enfeeble you, she can tempt chains you. Tempt chains, it makes you slower, and feeble makes you do less damage. And it's very, very easy that she gets super low, like 10% life, and you have crazy amount of enfeeble stacks, so you do no damage.
After that, I need a bath.
Yes, you do need a bath. Okay, let's go look at our new helmet. And if you curse her, she'll eat the curse and get more damage. I still do that though. Okay, so we definitely want to throw a jeweler on you. You are great. I will keep you for the end game because it's got suppression and life, and I might not need so much rest as the other helmet has. The hell are these helmets? I'm like the Lord of the Helm.
Good to see.
See, we'll grab.
Tell me something.
That. No, not a very good ring. I'm gonna sell that. We're gonna keep that. Now, How? Well, I don't really need vitality. I'm probably not going to use it. I'm too lazy. So I'll just slap Flame Dash in there. And then we get a decent life upgrade there. We're going to throw this in here. I'll position in, sell the old helmet. Now, we are a little bit low on lightning res now, which we need to go fix. Curse aura, she can't eat. And I'm going to craft the high level lightning res. Not the highest, but the alchemy one. There. Then we're just going to keep going. And make sure you pick up the recipe there. That's very important. See, we have a lesser multiple projectiles back in now. See, what do I grab now? I don't really need that faster attack speed right now. I don't need more life right now. I'm going to start getting Ignite chance. And that would be huge, especially with the fact that we're using flammability. That means that for bosses, we will have a 100% chance to ignite. That'll be a very, very big damage increase. In this zone, there'll be like one little side island at the start that'll have a quest item that you need to pick up. So check the side areas. It'll be here on the right now. And once you've picked that up, you need to run to the end of the zone. Ah. Beasts again. I can't remember what row is. Nothing important. You see that now, and we'll just ditch divination cards because we're obviously not going to finish this set of divination cards unless it's one that's like turn in at one card. We're obviously not playing very long, but you'll see the density of the game now has increased quite a lot, and there's a lot of monsters, and this build really starts shining there because soon we're going to get something called Ignite Proliferation, and that's so nice because it'll leave behind like a little like red puddle. That'll just destroy everything. So you don't need to do this, but I'm going to put a portal down here, and we're going to run to the next zone and grab the waypoint. I'm a huge fan of doing things like that for myself. That means I have to do less backtracking. Now, obviously, a little hard to know when to do it and stuff, but that's like a nice little crossroads there. I could do that. Boom. There. And now we're just gonna go back and Act 2 or Part 2 of the campaign is basically like later. I think it's like 30 years later. I can't remember. Like later, like things have changed. So we're back to Clarissa, and she's tried resurrecting her husband Tolman. It's not going too well. Not going too well. There. The really, really nice thing about this build is that everything just auto targets. So it's very, very chill experience. And once you get your crew lab, the totems will be taunting for you. A lot of the monsters will stay on the totems. You'll be like super safe. It's so nice. Can recommend. How far will you play? I will probably play 30 minutes to an hour into maps. Like just explain. Oops. I explained a little bit like how I start, what I'm doing, etc. Oh yeah, I can bend to those boots. We already got really, really nice boots. We're resist capped. We're almost ready to be resist capped for maps. We'll lose another 30% resist. We're getting even more ignite chance, and now we can click on explosive power. Very important. A lot of people look here and be like, oh, my chance to ignite is 45%, but you will be using combustion later, which will affect the gem itself. Right now we're on 45%. So we'll be replacing elemental damage with attacks with combustion. Can I buy combustion in Act 1? I'm not sure. I'm just going to buy level 1 and actually level it. And we're also needing an ignite proliferation, which we can get from Act 4. Might as well go get that now.
Favor you. 。 .
. 。 . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 。
. . . .
What can we do?
Manja and ignite.
Bye.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, I actually need to do the I'll do that. I need to do the side area here. Good to do anyway. I'll have to do it at least start, so.
Back to where it all began.
Back to where it all began. There. And again, at this point, I would definitely have 6 explosive arrows leveling in my alpha, and you really do want to have that. Getting a like level 21 gem is a huge difference. 15% more damage at the end game is very large. Because the further into the game, every single multiplier becomes huge. Like, if you're ever looking at someone's like super min-max build on PoE Ninja, you can see like taking off— oh shit, I didn't mean to press that. Taking off a small thing could suddenly be like 10 million damage, literally. Like, it's insane how big small things are at the end. This is annoying because that spawns a bunch of monsters. Another unique and an abyssal trove. This will give us those jewels. So they can go inside abyssal gear. It's the difference from the other jewels. But they can also go in the skill tree. There. Now we get the ignite proliferation. I always go for 2120 straight up, yeah. Cool.
The Black Crest.
More respec points. You do get a bunch of respec points in the campaign. We're gonna buy ignite proliferation. We do need a life tap as well. Might as well just buy a few life taps. Why not? We can level them later. There. Excellent. And now we're gonna continue progressing. Are eyes just better than normal jewels then? So the eyes are basically adding like flat damage. So they'll do like fire damage to attacks, physical damage to attacks, etc. And the other jewels are percentage. So for attack builds, the searching eyes, etc. and minion builds, then the ghastly eyes are better. But for most builds, the normal jewels like Crimson and Meridian are better. They're just both different purposes, really. They're not just straight up better or worse. Except for attack builds like lightning arrow, you really want searching. They're huge for that. I had one build back in the day, which basically like 92% of the cost or some crazy shit like that was just in the jewels of the build, getting like literally perfect jewels. That was another like skill point quest that we just killed. Oh, I forgot to mention this. These guys, they actually show you the way you're going. If there's a corpse outside, if you're wondering how I knew where to run, that's because I'm following the corpses. The cartographer chisel that I just picked up, that is the same quality things as a gem cutter prism, armor scrap, whetstone, and it works on maps. And if you use them while the map is white, then it'll do 5%, so you only use 4 chisels per map. Yeah, there, explosive arrow leveled up. It's now 13. Very, very nice. Huge damage boost. It's gonna be weird. Like, normally I end the everything explains here once I get to Act 9. But on this one, we are gonna keep doing a little bit more and show maps. Like, they're a lot more... It's a lot more tiring doing this than a normal stream. Because normal stream, I'm just on autopilot. Now I actually have to think about what I'm saying, which is terrible. And I don't like thinking. And I'm like talking, I kind of feel like I'm talking the same, except I actually have to think. Terrible. Thank you again for all the subs and resubs during this. Hopefully people on YouTube are enjoying it too. There, and then we gotta run in here, grab Solaris and Lunaris. The next boss, that's the end boss of this act. Two mini bosses before that though.
I can't
Do you have a guide on how to run through the areas? Some of the older ones, it's not really that important. It just sort of like, you sort of learn it passively over time. And eventually you'll be able to learn it. A lot of the zones are just like, for example, here it's like straight, like the waypoint's in the middle, and then it's straight at the top for the nice one. But it takes a long time. Yeah, Ruscom. There's guides on a lot of the areas. Layout guides. You're maintaining one cohesive narrative line, that's why it's weird compared to regular streams. Yeah, probably that's it. I don't know. I always get like these normally last 5 hours and I'm exhausted afterwards, whereas I don't have a problem streaming 16 or 18 hours. But even 5 hours of everything explained. Same with like man versus stream. It's also probably because it's different than my normal streams. Here it's also like same like Solaris level 2 that you have done before. It's just go straight left. Popping things. Hey, we got a Regal Orb during the campaign. That is incredibly rare. I'd say once every 3 league starts, I get a Regal during the campaign. Incredibly rare. Can be really useful for some builds. It turns a blue item rare, so from 2 stats to 3. Incredibly rare. It's still a very cheap orb because there's a Regal recipe at the late game. Die. Hydroscale gauntlets. You kind of get used to like what bases to pick up and stuff. Yeah, I like ditch the shield, ditch the chest there. There was no reason for me to pick that up. You could pick it up and just vendor it. Doesn't take you too much extra time, and you will like want a lot of alterations and stuff.
Why are you
Another
still standing
skill
there?
point. Now we have even more fire damage over time, and we are currently at 45% chance to ignite. Should I switch to combustion? See, do I need 5 link? So what I can do now is I can do 1 red, 1 green, 2 blue. Could probably do that in my helmet and we can see how that feels. That's usually what I do, and my helmet's quite good. How many jewelers do we have? We have a decent amount since we found those. What was it? 2 blue. Yeah, ignite proliferation, combustion. Yeah, 1 green, 1 red. Almost. Perfect. Okay, let's link that. And we'll see the difference and we can show so you guys can see how it plays before you decide whether you want to keep the current setup. I quite like this personally. So this is a lot more damage and you have no more swapping with this. So you'll see now we have, where is it? We have 70% chance to ignite now. However, we do get an additional 25% for bosses or things that we've used from ability on. So for bosses, we have 95% chance to ignite now. Quite nice. And yeah, you'll see that now you'll see the pro lift that it's lying behind and just shredding everything. Really, really nice. And we're gonna go grab some more ignite nodes at the top. So right now we are at level 57. The next one is level 69. Nice. I have to go to the right. Is the porcupine huge on this build? Yes, but we don't currently know how early. Like, they don't always put porcupine in early maps. It's in maps like Courtyard, Orchard, etc. So we're hoping that that's early. And there's a trick that you can do. I'll try to like remind people again when we get to maps. But you could not complete every map of 1 tier, and then you'll get more of the map you want. I always end up doing that. It's a little bit complicated for new players. I will explain it anyway, and they can just say like, fuck it, that's too complicated for me, I'm not going to bother. But it is a permanent decision. This isn't something you can fix later, so it's worth mentioning early. And then they can decide if they want to try to figure out how it works or not. A lot of PoE is like that, to be honest. There, Serpent Scale Gauntlets, any good? Oh my. Wow. 97 life, fire resist, 7% suppression, and this, I guess I can explain what suppression does. Wow, they're insane. I won't be able to use them right now because I need the links, but that is something you would keep for later. For sure. So the way suppression works is, let's say you have a 50% chance to suppress a spell, then it's a coin flip whether you take half the damage or full the damage from a spell. If you have a 100% chance to suppress spells, then you're just taking half damage from any spell. So it's huge mitigation. Very large. There, and obviously our new gems are leveling up, the new support gems, so we will get more damage from those leveling up too, like quite a lot more. I think, do we take a mastery there? No, I think so. But we will go for Holy Fire so that we get an additional 20% chance to ignite. Right up here. It's pretty big. Yeah, in 100% suppression. Do you have a written guide for leveling up? No, I don't make written guides. Never will. Well, never say never, but most likely never will. And people are picking up quality gems right now, but you should always be picking up quality gems, and every time you can sell enough for a quality of 40. And they'll give you a gem critter per sim. What is a spell? Anything that's not an attack? No. Just some things are spells. Everything is listed in PoEDB, but just... like you'll see like spark mages, right? Like a mage that's casting the spark spell, that's a spell. Quite a lot of boss things are spells. Yeah, it does not work for damage over time. You kind of have a written guide with the POB and the notes and the various leveling trees. I mean, generally not what people are asking for when they want a written guide. Just eat one more cracker so I have enough energy. I'm dying. I should eat more. That's why I got crackers. And continue. Oh. We're like an hour or two away, I think, from finishing, because I do want to do a decent amount of maps too. Like basically the setup part of maps, like maybe 5-10 maps, we'll see.
The blood is washed away, but I will never forget what you became, Veneer.
Just in time. Just in time.
Right. So now we're going to get the second orb. Once we have both of these, we can fight Solars and Lunaris. You see very, very good density now. Once you're in maps, there'll be even more monsters. And then there are things that you can do at the end game that'll be like just chock full monsters. And I've been mentioning maps a lot. That is the end game content of Path of Exile. They are actual items that you can find, and you can customize your own end game. You can roll them and add things to them, and it really is like you have so much agency over what you do and how you play, and there's loads of different end game mechanics you can explore. It's very fun. Done a really good job with it. Cookies, yeah. Oh, It's a lot of freeze. I'm just having a quick snack. Don't get too hungry. It's like a protein bar thing. Quickly necessary cookie. Whoa. Like I said, this would be a really, really good one to get and put on a quiver. I believe it was just a bunch of bow damage guaranteed. Level 59. 4% more fire damage over time multiplier. And that is like a very, very good stat for the build. It's a lot better. Like if you have the choice between 10% fire damage over time multiplier and 10% fire damage over time multiplier is, well, multiplicative. It's very, very strong. You definitely want that. Another Quicksilver. Now, you might think, well, we already have Quicksilvers. Do you need to pick it up? And the one we just found is higher item level. And item level is very important for Path of Exile. And quickly go through it a little bit. But the higher item level an item is, generally the more stats and more rolls you can have. So for example, early on, it's like you can get attack speed on a bow at level 5, item level 5. But later you can get like 19% attack speed at like level 60 or 70 or something. And then generally item level 86 is the highest in the game. Past that, nothing matters. So whether if an item is item level 100, for example, or item level 86, there's no difference. Doesn't matter.
Bring me back something.
Let's see if we can get perfect. Evasion's not bad. Better than like I have nothing on mine. We'll bank that and we'll bank some other stuff. Yeah, I don't need cruelty. I don't use that in the build. I don't know why I had that there for so long. We'll throw a precision in. Love it. Alright. We're now going to fight the Act 8 boss and then we're going to be in Act 9. Is your ideal item level for Flask? 84? 82? Depends on which one. There. Accuracy. Still 100%. We're good. You're doing great. You are doing great. I already have separate video for Expedition, Heist, Alva, etc. I have one video that goes over every single league mechanics and says if it's worth learning more about or if it's just like skip, don't worry about it. And then I have individual videos for every single league mechanic that exists. And every boss. Alright, here we go. Now you'll see our damage has really come online and the boss is just like wasting away. And this is before leveling up a bunch. Like, I could be like level 63 or something here. Really, really good damage now. That attack is pretty scary. I always just want to stand behind her when she like races her spear. You're dead. Oh. Oh. But Naris doesn't have that many crazy attacks. There, didn't drop anything that we're really interested in. We could look at the armor evasion tests because we could force stock at them if they're really good, but they aren't. I'm using very most basic never seeing filter at the moment. Alright, now we're in Blood Aqueduct. This is most people's leveling area of choice that they just like control click the zone and keep leveling here. You can farm at Tabula Rasa here, but that's been nerfed quite a lot. Obviously they could change it a little bit this league, but most likely doubt that it would get buffed. I think it takes me around anywhere between 4 and 7 hours right now to farm a tabula, and this build doesn't need it. So you absolutely don't want to farm here for 4 or 7 hours. So I just like normally like go either a level here for a few levels, or you can go level in foothills. I'll show you and talk about foothills farming. It's actually very, very important to learn even as a new player. It's a little bit complicated. It can also be quite enjoyable. I will talk about it and you can decide if you want to skip it or not. From Onigoroshi instead? No, I don't wish that on anyone. There's a Divine Life Flask. So this is going to be that's like the final upgrade for Life Flask. There is one after that called Eternal, but that's not really used very much. Not very good for most builds. More for like overtime flasks. Not so much for instant, and instant is generally what you want. So this is a cool outcome that can happen. It makes the sockets of everything that drops white. So that means that you can put any gem in there. It can be really, really nice to get early because then you like alleviate so much socket pressure if you're in a build or you really, really need blue sockets, etc. You will find these. None of these are particularly good. I would have kept this helmet normally because it would be very, very nice for a lot of builds to just have that option.
Good luck.
There, transmute. And then for stash tabs and stuff like that, if you're interested in buying that, I do have videos saying like what the good stash tabs are to buy when they're on sale.
Take care.
Let's see, any quivers? There's a thicket bow, and we do have enough. We do have enough now to use thicket bows, like enough dexterity, but they can be a pain to color. That's why we like short bows, even at the end game, and grove bows. Because the higher, the way colors work is the more, like for example, if an item has 30 dexterity, it's required, right, to use it. They'll get more greens, but he can still get a decent amount of reds and blues. If an item has 150 or 200, whatever, it'll be really, really hard to get reds and blues on an item. So the higher requirement is for whatever the respective socket is, that's how it decides like how rare it is. It can be a pain. There are so many monsters around shrines now. Really great. We're getting levels really fast too. There, now we got 20% chance to ignite. And when very important that you've clicked explosive arrow, you can see that I'm now 90%, and that's without the flammability curse. That means that for normal monsters, we're almost always igniting, and for bosses, we are always igniting.
Just in time.
You see that we have like really good damage now, and that 20% ignite chance, the way it works for explosive arrow is every percentage ignite chance you're missing is basically the same as missing more damage. It really is that bad, so you really want to make sure you have 100% as soon as possible. And the last 10% we will be getting from quality on explosive arrow, so you can just slam every gem cutter prism you get into explosive arrow early. But you need 20. And now in this zone, we are about to meet Jun, which is the betrayal mechanic, also the most complicated mechanic in Path of Exile. It makes a lot of people really confused. Even a lot of veteran players don't really get how to manipulate it and how it works. I have like a 30-40 minute video about it that does explain it very plainly, and most people say they understand it a lot better after watching that, so hopefully that'll help. But pretty convoluted mechanic. Show you here in a sec. Just gotta do this little quest. Little questy quest. Die. Got the Stormblade. And where is Jen? There she is. Oh, little box. So this is great. This is like there's 4 different encounters. They have really, really dangerous bosses. They can very easily one-shot you. Can be very deadly. Kinda hard to get one-shot as a champion because of Fortify, but still can happen. They're very dangerous, and there's like 13, 14 different people. They're also on rotation, and some people are probably like, what the fuck is this? You can move them around, and they have really different rewards. Like, for example, Hillock on Fortification here will give quality as a reward when you finish the safe house, and not super important to explain, but can give you rewards of giving quality to your armor. Guff can help you craft stuff. There's like for Ricci that gives you white sockets, and there's like endgame rewards on intervention. There is a cheat sheet, and we have a very good in-depth explanation of this, but they have very, very powerful rewards.
Keep your word.
And that is veiled items. So if I talk to Jen now, I can now see this is like weird squiggly lines. You have not just developed dyslexia. This is actually the veiled system. So if I click unveil now, I get a new thing, and I get this for my crafting bench. So I can craft it as a weaker version later. And none of these are particularly useful for me, but there are so many really good things, especially on gloves and helmets, that I can get like +2 AoE gems, and our explosive arrow is an AoE gem. So I would get a level 16 explosive arrow, getting 30% more damage by getting that helmet. So there's some really, really good things, and because of that, and these veiled things, and there's some crazy crafts here. What a lot of people will do is what's called foothill farming. It's kind of annoying to do as a streamer because as a new player, you have no idea what you're seeing, and you end up having to like permanently chain explain it every 3 seconds because it looks a little weird. It almost looks like an exploit. And as you saw in the quest text, it popped up on the right saying John was there, and that keeps happening. So what you do is you keep respawning the zone over and over and over again, and most people do this for... most racers and most players will do this 2 to 4 hours at league start once we get here, because you're leveling up here too, so it's an okay place to level in. You're getting very powerful gear, and now you see the text popped up, and now I know that there's a Jun research. And even if you don't understand how to manipulate them and move them around and get the rewards, the items they drop and the crafts they give you can be incredibly powerful. You don't need to actually fully understand how it works. The only one it doesn't like give a text on is intervention, so you will just miss out on one of the safe houses. But pretty good. So now we got 3 people. We can just do whatever with them. It's not really super important. All we're looking for here is the gear they're dropping. That belt, for example, could be really good. This glove could be absolutely insane. This could be like... I could regret playing right now because I'm wasting my league start RNG. We'll go to town again and we'll talk to John. But that glove, if this is AoE, that is some like criminal shit.
I am some of the members. Hello.
Okay, it didn't. Oh, it's a suffix. It would have to be a prefix. I didn't see that it didn't have an open one. So either way, this is a pretty good glove. It's got lightning, chaos res, lightning, fire res, 43 life, and a little bit of armor. Can take this is a good craft that we need later. I didn't explain the minion attack speed in my build guide this time. We're just gonna get so many questions of that. It's basically at the end we're using a node here called Spiritual Command, which lets minion attack speed work as your normal attack speed. Oh yeah, and the belt.
Blessings.
And the ring. The ring could be insane too. Nothing good here. Ring. Could have gotten endurance charge, would have been very good. None of this is very good. So we didn't get anything good, but maybe already you're seeing like some of the potential, and this bow is not very good. Maybe already you can see the potential. It can be like just very, very strong. Very, very, very strong. Let's see. Any quiver or crazy bow? No, no quivers. And these are all blue, so they're useless. I don't know why they changed that. They just made vendors worse. there. We're gonna go back to the Mysterious Desert and kill Shikari. Little quest boss. Yeah, damage feels really, really good right now. Very, very good. Yeah, this will all go on YouTube. I put one of these up every 3 to 4 months. Before every league start, I make one of these. You know, very like popular video people keep requesting. So I just keep them up to date. Another thing we could do as well later is we can get Culling Strike instead of Greater Multiple Projectiles on Frenzy. It'd be really, really nice. We're now level 61. And now we got Holy Fire. That gives us fire resist too. It makes it easier to gear, so it's a really nice node to pick up early. Now you can see our damage even on bosses is like quite nice. Page over. Yeah, you can swap to culling. Yeah, I have TLDR off the patch notes. YouTube. Here you just gotta let her attack you while dodging. Covered in sand. Wish I could play this as a Pathfinder. Yeah, it's not really a great Pathfinder build. It's okay on Elementalist and Champion. I've done it on Juggernaut a few times too. It's not ideal though. It needs so much more gear. Insane how much gear it needs. And then yeah, soon we'll be getting our 5th totem in not too long. Alright, Johnny, yeah. Alright, quest almost done. Die, please. Daughter! Pick up the Divine Life or Mana Flask. There, any good? No. No. Sure. Why not?
Can we be of help?
Maybe I should just keep the other one because I really need freeze immunity. It's so easy to get caught by a strongbox, etc. and get killed that way. Let's see. Do we not use any mastery anymore for that? I think they nerfed them all. Man, masteries used to be more fun. Fun. Right, what am I missing right now? I think we're just going down towards Panopticon. And that will give us another totem, and then the 6th totem we will get later on when using an in-game mechanic called Anointing. We're going to the Boiling Lake here. Mana's been pretty okay just with the mana flask as well. I haven't really needed to like use life tap, and we obviously don't have a crazy amount of life regen yet. We will get a little bit more life regen later when we're getting Golem's Blood, and we could run Vitality too. I might end up doing that on League Start just to get another defensive flask. It's pretty important for hardcore. That's important on softcore. I always end up running slightly different than my own guides, depending on drops and stuff like that. Gonna run nearly every zone is always just run to the top. Now we are gonna skip Mercer's Lab. That's the next one, just because I want to be a little bit faster, and it's just like 20% damage. It is quite substantial. Don't really care about that right now. And like 30% damage reduction or something. Highborn Bell, we will look at that just in case it's crazy, but you know, hard to beat the short bows. It was not crazy.
Yes.
Yes.
Fools.
Bye.
There, we're going to run through, and then that also means that I'm going to be skipping the next 3 trials that I would need for the Merciless Lab, because I can't be running that right now. Don't really need that for the starter maps. The build's so strong, it doesn't like need everything that you have access to. But you will have access to that at least start lab and stuff like that. Which is nice. It's always better if it looks and feels even more powerful for the people playing than what I'm doing. Be even better. We get a pretty good speed too with the blink arrow. Just zoom in. And then with the quartz fast letting us go inside the enemies without getting like stuck in them, etc. It's just so good. There's one trial in this zone for the Merc Lab. You have to do it's somewhere near the start. And then another thing that we've skipped, there's a boss here called Yugul. And in that area too, there is a trial there as well that you need to do. Want to make sure you pick that up. You can do slash passives at the end once you kill Katava, and that'll show you what you're missing skill point wise. I'll show that later. Important to grab all of those. I figure we can skip some of the skill point quests and stuff now. And just be a bit weaker instead. That's just sheer power we're giving up. We're 61, we're a little low level. I'm gonna be at least 65 before maps. And this build really shines from overleveling. At least you will not see me being 61 here. I'll be like foothills farming for a while. I'll also be probably leveling to at least like 68 before going to maps. 66 to 68 somewhere. You just get so much power from overleveling on this build, and there's just no reason to rush while you're playing hardcore. On softcore it's fine, obviously you can do whatever you want. Also, this is the tankiest thing during the campaign, pretty much. He's just very tanky. Very, very tanky. Right, what dropped out here? Another Chaos Orb, that's good. Need those for the crafting bench. What setting enchant do you need from the foothills? You can get fire damage and ignite chance on a bow. It's not the end of the world to get.
The corruption
The minion attack speed one is very huge. And then +2 AoE gems is pretty huge. Grab the craft here as well. Here, just gonna run through.
Here I go again.
And true. Or beast. Oh. You really tell that bleed does like so much more damage while I'm moving. There's more expedition, we're just ignoring that. It will be one of the things that will be running at least start though. Basically it has like one guy called Rog that helps you with crafting, one guy called Tuyan that helps you with currency, Gwenin that helps you search for unique items but won't actually help you, and then Danny gives you other people's currency. Here we have the first map. The specific names of the maps will be changing for League Start because they shuffle which one is which tier. But here we have a colonnade map. That's the first one we've found. And that is the end game of Path of Exile. These can be rolled just like other things like strong boxes and items. And you use the same currency for that, like alchemies, etc. Oh, owie. Thing hurts. My explosive arrow is not too far away from leveling. It would be nice to have one more level for some damage. I'm usually not this under leveled. Actually, I really shouldn't be this under leveled. I actually should be leveling a little bit. I'm like super under leveled for maps and stuff. It'd be nice to be like 64, 65. I think most people do that on softcore even. Here we have another Jan.
A new challenger.
Where are your first one?
Might me. They'll never even suspect us.
Nope, nothing good. Ow. I was 73 when I beat the final boss. Yeah. That's pretty normal, especially for people playing hardcore. How? He's so mean. Stop being mean. That stomp sounds so cool. We're fully rest capped and stuff like that. We don't need a shield. We'll be a little low on damage because we're like... I would probably normally have like level 16 explosive arrow. For killing this, I would have 30% more damage plus a bunch of skill points. We probably have like 50% more damage than what we currently have. It's fine. We will hopefully survive. This is a bit of a pain. I jump and start screaming soon. Why are you so scary? No, no screaming. I don't have regen. Stop it. Easy. Even with low damage, it's like pretty okay with this build because we can hide behind things, etc. And we're still using that that shitty item level 37 bow that we got. It's really, really nice, and we can get really, really good upgrade by getting +2 bow gems. We get that pretty early in maps on like a useless bow. We get a huge, huge upgrade very early into maps. Sometimes you get that during the campaign too. It's not like crazy rare. Wait, is Ashley no good? Did I have an Ashley? I didn't see it. Leveling slow start crawl after 93? Yeah. Well, 95. 93 is pretty fast. Yeah, like it does. So generally level 98 is halfway to 100. In terms of like time spent. We go. Boom. We get some more regen. That'll feel really nice. And then down here we get even more regen. And then Panopticon, we get a huge damage boost. Obviously we get so much damage from leveling as well. That's why we're very low on damage right now. Because we're very, very low on that compared to what we normally are. This is going on YouTube, yeah. Either way, pretty easy boss, even with the low damage from being under level. We get to like 65 or something.
With luck, that was the last time I'll have to sully myself with those three.
Check the new armor.
You're well, I suppose.
Alright, let's do it. Random unique that we don't need. We got pretty. We don't care about the belt right now. There, alright. We will just run through everything. Do a few Blood Aqueduct runs because we need a little bit of experience. And yeah, we might be using Sadism. Decided yet? We'll find that out on Friday. We tried at least. You see the XP goes really, really fast here. There's so much density. Normally I would do foothills, but I don't care that much about items right now, so saving that for Friday. Not a very fun grind. Right, I do have to play ads, so I might as well do that right now for the people watching on Twitch. While we're just doing Blood Aqueduct Fuel. Another unique. I might as well grab the mittens, although we have crazy gloves already if we want that. Those are leveled up to 15, so that's a big damage boost. Feels really good to get exploration shrines. Zoom zoom. There's so many blue packs in Blood Aqueduct too, like quite a lot that are just guaranteed that are always there. The big difference between getting the 5th and 6th totem, and once you have those, is that then you're actually able to get the max amount of fuses that explosive arrows can hit is 20, and that makes a huge difference for the build. That's why we're so obsessed with attack speed as well on this build. Alright, one more run. Really starting this build. Pretty good amount of attacks per second, like 2.7. Grab the... I can't be bothered going to the other side to grab Delirium. Hey, let's see. Having another strength node. There's nothing really in our near vicinity that does anything. We need like a few more points. We'll get 64 and then we can head on. Be a little bit under leveled for maps for what I normally do, but I think that's fine. The build's so strong it shouldn't be a problem. And normally you would have the Merciless Ascendancy too. So yes, we are going to be losing a lot of damage compared to what we would normally have. But I'd rather show off the build underpowered anyway. And then you can see what I'm going to be normally doing. Hopefully I'll be a bit faster than most people that want to learn on Friday anyway. Maybe we'll see how it actually pans out. Broadhead arrow quiver. We can grab that. Try to throw an alchemy on it. Actually, we want to throw a woe essence on it. Fuck Twitch. Everybody should move to YouTube. These ads are so annoying. So that's not YouTube's fault. It's not Twitch's fault. I chose to play those ads. I play 3 minutes of ads per hour. And usually I take a break when I play ads, but seeing as I was just doing Blood Aqueduct anyway, I figured now was a good time to play them, as nobody was going to be missing much. A good way for me to get paid. And if you don't like ads, you can subscribe or use Twitch Turbo. Completely okay. Generally, I run ads in a pretty good way. Pretty big part of my income. Yeah, one more level, then we're gonna head on. Does he record all the ads himself, like YouTube intros? Yeah, excellent. See, that is a pretty decent one to throw a greed essence on, because obviously I don't have a great glove right now, but I do need the sockets on the glove. So throwing a greed essence on, that's pretty good. Boots would be a hard one to throw a greed essence on, because right now it would be pretty unlikely for me to get a better boot, and my helmet as well is triple rest with life. There. Almost 64, then we'll carry on. Be on this scene actually. Right now we're completely followed to the path of building, so I have like the level 69 nice tab open. So normally we would be finishing that off before we get to maps. Filler orbs, nice. Almost 64. We're old. Old. How do the ignites work with the A? Do all the fuses all blow at the same time? Yeah, so once the first arrow hits, you basically have 1.2 seconds to get as many fuses into the target, and then it blows, counting how many you have. That's why you want to get enough that 20 fuses explode every 1.2 seconds. That's why we want so much attack speed. And then you get a very, very large ignite. Right, we're level 64. Would foothills have better XP? No, it's worse XP, but better gear. Do foothills for gear. Right, let's go. There, we got a point there, and then boom, we're in Act 10. They override each other, or continue. Is it different scenes? Is it facing the other way now? Yeah.
I am in need of your services once more.
Nice solo. So now we do have a decent amount more damage. Not a crazy amount. I would normally be decent amount higher level here, but just to go fast. We'll continue. So I'm going to show off the starter maps. A lot of people get confused on what to do there and how they work. There, and I think we'll be missing like 3, 4, maybe 5 skill points. No big deal. The good thing about that is when we're playing at least starting the build will be like 50, 60, 70% stronger. It'll feel even better. It's like we're playing with like Rock Lee weights. Alright, the Ravaged Square.
It's time to
And
end
at the
this.
bottom of this zone, there's another boss called Valenta. So we have been like missing some skill points and like bosses and stuff like that. And give you another skill point. Definitely worth
I
picking
can't
up.
do this just yet.
So at the end, you will have 22 skill points if you help the bandit, 24 if you kill them all. Ossuary, that's where another trial is. It's also like a respect regret point, but it's where another trial is that we would need for Merciless. And the Merciless lab is actually very, very huge. On the next like loading screen or next, I go to the next zone, I'll explain what the next ascendancies do. They're very, very good, and then Uber Lab we'll get later on in maps. So the first one is 100% chance to taunt on hit, and it's reduced damage taken if you've taunted an enemy recently. This line was bugged and didn't really work before. And enemies taunted by you deal 20% less damage against other targets. And then enemies that are taunted also deal 10% less damage to anyone else. And it's our totems taunting, so we get a lot of damage mitigation. So we don't get any damage from this. But once we get Worthy Foe, enemies take 20% increased damage. And since we don't have a lot of enemies take increased damage, this is almost the same as 20% more damage. And enemies taunted by you cannot evade attacks. So even if it says here like 30% accuracy or something, it's 100%. It'll never show in like the tooltip, but we will basically always be accuracy capped on this build. It'll always be taunted, so we'll always be hitting.
By the time we're through, no one will
But it will
be
look
able
very
to
scary.
tell
It'll
you
look like you're
Each cog
missing.
must turn if the
We will
machine
hit.
is to work.
Oh, scary.
I can't. Leave the mask on.
Okay.
I don't.
Go on.
I am well. A sat to live free, to dream.
Right. No items. Don't really want to explain exactly like choices and stuff right now because Betrayal is such like it's a 30-40 minute thing. This show dying yet? No, I haven't died. Not particularly eventful. You just get a screen saying resurrecting checkpoint or resurrecting town. If you're on hardcore, it'll be followed by a few curse words. I'm wondering where you went wrong. It'll be very fun to play hardcore though. Everything like feels very special when you're able to accomplish things. You can see you can like do better and better. Like lastly, I think I played like 600 hours and I died 3 times. That's a pretty good ratio for me. 1 death every 200 hours. My like average ratio is like 1 every 130, 140 hours. Maybe we'll have 0 deaths this thing. That's what I've been aiming for a while now. There was one league where I had no deaths the entire first month and then I shit the bed pretty much a month after league start. Worth running champion even on software? Yeah, I mean, better off asking software players since I am biased. But I've had so much positive feedback. So much positive feedback from software players that I've just really, really enjoyed. It's so tanky and still really, really great damage, and it does make you learn the game a lot more. Like for example, playing something Elementalist will not really teach you the game because you're just suiciding and rushing the boss down that way. Whereas with Champion, you're actually dodging and tanking a lot of the mechanics and outplaying the boss. All right. Time to kill the boss, and then we have to kill Katava again. He's back. Who knew? Spoiler alert. This is a very, very tanky boss. It might take you a while. run around him in circles. He's pretty harmless. Well, actually, he hits like a truck, but not very accurate. And after all of this, I have to do some more build collabs. Then I have to just stay awake a bit and play some Tarko. That'd be great. Alright. Town. Remember this boss one-tapping Lily in the Gauntlet? She had 4.7k life? Yeah. Can be a bit mean. Mean boss. Let's see. We're gonna grab the Greed Essence, the Wailing one. Throw that on the gloves. Very nice gloves. We're gonna throw chromes. 2 blue, 2 green, please. We got no 2 blue, 2 green. I need to go to Act 4 or Act 8 too. But we're gonna hand in the divination card for 17 chromatics. It does help a lot, so very, very nice. There's a few divination cards like that that you most likely will get one, either the alteration one or this. Get a bunch of stuff. They pay a lot more attention than I have been doing to actually finding stuff like that, like chromes.
What is it, Exile?
There. All right. Lots of life, so we're at 2,800 life. Normally on hardcore when I kill Kitava, I have like 4k. All right. Oh, whoops. We do need to talk to Innocence.
Bannon.
Is there anything we need here? We can grab Silver Flask.
For freedom. Bannon.
Care about a chest?
Remember, we do
There.
this for freedom.
Alright, Innocence. Oh yeah, so Innocence just spawned out of Bannon and killed Bannon. He's gone now. Very sad. Very sad, but we must move on. The things we must do to save the world.
I don't suppose there's time to convince innocence.
No, there's not. There, this gives enchanted items, so there's loads of like different rewards you'll get from Delirium. You can even get unique items, currency, etc. So normally what I'll do, if the reward is good instantly, like if it's currency or unique items, then I'll see how far I can take it, like try to get 4 or 5 rewards. And in maps later on, you can get as much as like 10, 12. Do you get most of your pre-gear map from Syndicate? Yep. Syndicate is huge for gear. Absolutely huge. Especially because of the Veiled stats being so good. So the Veiled stats themselves are stronger than what you can craft later. They're basically drop only. So for example, you will later be able to craft +1 AoE gems, but you can unveil directly +2. That's why it's so strong. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna be able to go to 4, so we'll just end it there. See what we get. Maybe some helmet enchants. Actually, I think we need 68 or higher to get helmet enchants either. Oh, we could have. I thought the next stone was here. We're 65 now, so we're like, okay. I never go to maps this low, but could be fine. Traffic glitches? The hell? As a normal player, do you reckon anyone could actually keep up with streamers on the leaderboards? I've heard 6 party leveling or whatever. I'm assuming most streamers do this to get the biggest head start? No. Nearly every streamer plays solo. Even when we play in groups, we play solo and just trade with each other. I might be playing with Ember at least, right? I haven't fully decided yet. But like, this is going to be the first league I go trade in a long time. Nearly every streamer plays solo self-fun. It's just better for content. Only exception is Empyrean's group playing a group. Hey, there's the Orb of Scouring. We got most of the orbs that exist. Alright, it's time to fight Kitava, and then we are entering Path of Exile's endgame. I think this is the first time I've done that on an Everything Explained. This Kitava is a lot easier than Act 5 Kitava, because this Kitava does not have a similar type slam, where he like hits the ground really hard. So it's a lot easier. And normally you're more over leveled for this. You can see my damage already now, even while I'm just level 65, more than enough to like absolutely shred. Those things are actually like the most dangerous. Yeah, but this Kitava is full fire ground sometimes. Is there a safe spot? Yeah, just the opposite of where it starts. So if it starts here, then you just stand here and then you're safe. It's a very, very easy boss. And then if you go low on fast, you can just portal out. How we? There. Never making these to help new players so much. Yeah, it'll be interesting how the feedback will be on going to maps. People like it. I always feel a bit rushed at the end. And now he's gonna do the fire breath attack. Oh, oh. Oh, I didn't do the fire breath attack. Lame. Well, if it starts here, you're safe all the way at the end.
My spirit is spent.
My spirit is spent. Mana is annoying in the start.
May a new dawn arise.
I did it! Right. So we're almost resist cap now. We just have to craft resist on my gloves, and we're ready for maps already. We also have open suffix on my boots, and we have open suffix on my quiver. So we'll craft attack speed on the quiver. There's loads of things we can craft there.
Well, now that by the high...
Go to Lily Roth. Can you show play, don't kill? Sure. It's usually around 7 hours for Everything Explains. Oh,
Exile.
thanks.
Exile, wake up. Commander, keep your life to your own. Through the tunnel.
Alright, and then you just, I mean, we can just go hide out on the back down. It's kind of faster than actually running there. Right, let's see. Let me craft real quick. What do I need? I need lightning. We'll craft, this is pretty good. We'll do the high level one there, and then we'll craft attack speed. Do I have that yet? Yeah. Boom. Excellent. That's a good start. A little bit of a waste of the chaos orbs, but too many alterations either. Gloves are worth it. The quiver was questionable.
By the...
There, got another. So right now we can do slash passives, and we are actually missing quite a few. We have 20, so we're missing 4 skill points right now, which would take us pretty close to getting 1, 2, 3, 4. So we would be like getting very, very close to getting our 50 totem. I'm gonna go talk to Kirak, grab alleyways, and if I hold Alt, you'll see that the Atlas map and bonus objective is not completed. This is now a blue map. It's got monster damage. It's got player recover less life and energy shield, which is very annoying. It's a bad stat, but yes, it's a little bit rippy. Let's see. Put some things away. I normally have these things in my inventory. Also, I should have handed in this quest, but whatever. I keep these things in my inventory to like sort of roll on the fly. So that I'm rolling maps without having to like go back to the stash every time, etc. And now we're in
Like
Path of
stepping into
Exile's
a dream.
endgame. So this, well, we'll get the atlas and stuff now. And see that density is really, really high. And this is a blue map. You can alch them as well. And the more you roll the map, like if you roll it alch, then and chiseled, which is the quality stuff, similar to like armor scraps and whetstones, then the more you roll like that, the more stuff is gonna drop in your map. You see, it's like a lot more crazy than normal. You get a decent amount of upgrades. This immortality thing is really, really annoying because I can't find the source of it.
I do love the stink of victory.
Here we go. And we will be picking up at least one full inventory worth of rares by the time we're leaving at the boss. So you basically want to identify one full set just so you're getting a bunch of alterations to craft. No, I don't usually automate my flasks. I hate doing it. Except on Pathfinder. Now. More jewelers. You see, we're clearing very, very nicely, and like I said, we are quite underpowered here. We're missing our lab, which is additional tank. That would actually make us very, very tanky right now. And the taunt, which keeps things off me and on my totems. And we're missing a bunch of levels on my gem. Sometimes I've been as much as like level 17 gem on my explosive arrow. Right now we're level 15, so that would be another 30 damage there. Plus getting another totem, so like 70% more damage. I don't know, quite a lot. It really adds up fast, all the stuff that we're missing. We'll be able to see like real powerful version of this build on the start. This is the boss. You guessed it. Run around it in a circle. I mean, to be fair, normally you wouldn't even use it to stand still because he would just be attacking your totems the entire time no matter what. Now it's just kind of RNG what he's attacking, but normally your totems would be tanking. You can do whatever the fuck you want. It's very safe for shit like that. That's why it's one of my favorite builds. So from the boss I pick up a full inventory worth of rares. And then now we go talk to Kirak.
Now that you've had a...
And we can invite him to our hideout. Boom, he lives there now. And we, if you felt like the normal skill tree was convoluted, now we also have an endgame skill tree. And here you can choose what to do, like how you're going to set up your endgame stuff. So I usually post mine, but there really is no skill tree. Like you can be like, oh, I really like the essence stuff. Then you search for essence and you just go through and you pick everything to do with essence. That's usually the first thing that I do.
Hail.
One. Sure, all I need. And then we identify, see if there's anything crazy, like really high life and resist. It's not bad, but it didn't have an open suffix, so just vendoring everything for alterations.
Got my eye on you.
Oh, my voice is dying. Let's see. Decorations. Map device. Don't know if it was further in, but oh, it's here. What's supplied? 5 hours, 58 minutes. Let's see. So, a quick thing worth mentioning is sometimes for some builds, and this is very important for this build, there will be, for example, maps like Courtyard, Orchard, what else? Courtyard, Orchard, Gardens, and a few other maps that will drop, for example, the divination card we need called Porcupine, and that gives us a 6-link bow. And let's say that this map is tier 4, right? And normally what we want to do is we don't want to complete any other tier 4 map than the one that we are looking to do. And terrace, yeah. And the reason for that is the way map drops work in Path of Exile. If I'm clearing an alleyways right now, I can drop an excavation, which we did, or I can drop a stagnation. But I can't drop a colonnade. Well, actually, I think colonnade can always drop because it's tier 1. But if a map isn't connected, we can't drop it. And we can use that to our advantage. So let's say terrace is a tier 4 map. And I've only completed terrace as my only tier 4 map. And if I'm then doing tier 6 maps, the only tier 4 map that can drop is terrace. You'll start building up a really big pool of these, and you can start spam running these just to farm that divination card you need, which is in turn is going to give us that 6 sync. So really, really nice for that. Now we're going to go into tier 2 map, and the way map drops work is a normal monster can never drop a map higher than the map they're in. So right now we're in a tier 2 map, so all the whites that we're killing in this map can only drop other tier 2 maps. The blues and rares can drop 1 tier above, and the map boss can drop 2 tiers above. Is there a way to know the atlas beforehand? Yeah, it gets posted by printing your games. The full layout. You guys think you'll get a 60 in this playthrough? No, because I'm just gonna play like 30 minutes into maps and explain like the basics and how we start. Like, it's very important. Like, I'm resist capped right now. That's important. I've got a decent amount of life. Like 3k is fine for mapping, but you would want at least 4k for the starter maps. Uh-oh. See, this is why you want instant life flasks. You see, like, it's magnitudes crazier in maps than before. There's 2 bosses in this map. You gotta kill both before you get the completion. I do also need to upgrade my instant life flask. And what's so nice about this for being your first build is the taunt is just makes everything so safe for bossing and stuff. Incredibly safe. Also, Leicester Eldritch Ichor. So the way this works is it changes the implicits on an item. So you can only use this in like gloves, chest, helmet, boots. But that could have given me, I can't remember if it's blue or red version of that. That'll give me like Ignite Proliferation. That would let me swap our Ignite Prolif gem to something else. Now you don't get that much of that currency early on. So you normally save it until you have an item you're really certain that you want to keep. So I wouldn't have used it on the level that I just showed it on there. Because before tier 16s, you don't get much of it. Ow. And then right now, our totems will be dying quite a lot. And that's because we're missing a node called Ironwood. It's at the bottom of the tree. That's where we're headed next. And some people stop taking that on support. I don't know why. You really don't want to not take that. It's very important to take. Find life flask. Grab a few force slot items. And then you can go clear the rest of the map. You can even do like remaining. It also shows in the top right. And you can like run around and clear a map. But generally, especially in these maps, they're not very high investment. I'm just killing like the bulk, right? I'm not going to go and make sure that I've killed everything. It's not very important. Sometimes I'll even just kill the boss. It's like, even if you lose half the map, it's kind of whatever. There. Decent clubs there, but we're not going to keep those.
Long day.
They're armor evasion. We're not interested in that. We're going to try to roll ideally a freeze immune and either bubbling and show something else that's pretty cool. If I get a bubbling or half instant with no suffix, then we can show bestiary. Didn't. Unlucky. Okay, I'm not getting one. We'll just have no freeze immunity. But we could do that on our mana flask too. But bestiary we can do here, and we can add convection to the flask. And that basically forces freeze immune. So using bestiary for things like that, really, really good. Now I'm going towards the essence one now. That means that every map I open after I get that will have essence. And that means that I'm just stacking up essence. And even if I just open a map, run to the essence and leave, it'll just really, really pool very fast. So you'll see that I do that very, very often on SSF. Now, I guess I'm playing trade, so maybe I'll do things slightly differently. It'll be interesting. But I still play very like SSF-like. Here we have Betrayal as a random spawn.
You killed me.
You do also have like one of each daily mission. So you could like force Betrayal on a map. But here we got it for free. They're pretty dangerous right now because they're poisoning. That's like a repeat deadly map mod that's on this map right now. But we don't have enough currency to really re-roll it, so we just have to roll with it and hope we don't die. Just gotta hope we don't die. Explosive Arrow just leveled up, so that's another 15% more damage. Are you gonna play trade this thing? I didn't like the... Oh, Jesus. Didn't like the prices for the race that much. Wasn't something I felt like racing for. I die here. Ghosted Hillock is kind of crazy. Jesus. What a mean dude. Alright.
No.
Nothing good. Oh no. And there's intervention.
The Syndicate's trying to restrain your baser instincts, Ogre.
Fighting all alone.
It's no easy, does it?
As if you just die.
Go on.
Absolutely brutal.
Braves. We must have won gloves and helmet.
Syndicate I
That's what we're
told
looking for.
Or do. I don't care.
How much chaos rest is this at? Right now I'm minus 35. I don't look at chaos rest until like yellow maps at least. Not important early. More important than before, but not very important. There's Beyond in this map as well, so you can see these things that are being summoned here. They're fairly dangerous repeat monsters. I usually avoid running it on hardcore at the start because it is very deadly. They're not super rewarding either. They're like okay rewarding. They're like a bunch of XP. You can see with the map mods here. There's like, oh, I'm so dead here. Yep. So this mod is what's killing us right now, and it's monsters poison on hit. And the entire premise of Champion, especially once we get the next ascendancy that we're missing, is that we're not immune, but we're very, very tanky against hits. And the number one thing that ends up killing this build is damage over time stuff. Do we self-proc adrenaline or just let it happen naturally? We don't have adrenaline on this build at all. Yeah, damage over time is the number one thing that kills this build. But it does get very tanky. I try to get like 700, maybe 800 life regen to bypass that. I find that that helps really nicely. But later on, you'll be like face tanking almost every hit. You can see how much the poison is screwing me up and the ignites and stuff. Even like an ignite box, you'll really notice will mess you up. Here's the Scarab. That's part of the endgame content where it'll basically be something you can put alongside a map into the map device. And if I put this Abyss Scarab in, then what it'll do is it'll guarantee that there'll be Abyss in the map that I'm running. And there's loads of different Scarabs, so you can customize your own endgame content. Also, I would not be running this map on hardcore. Like, Alch maps early is a little bit sketch. Normally, it would be a lot more powerful than this. It would be less of a problem. But, I generally run a lot of blue maps early while you're unlocking the Atlas. Not just because of, rippiness, but you don't have a lot of, like, alchemies and chaos orbs to reroll maps. So if you get a really fucky one, you can't really do anything about it. Whereas, very easy to reroll a blue map. You are tanky. Why are you so tanky? Oh, it's an essence. Essences are crazy. Essences are literally the craziest thing in the game. This doesn't even have life regen. It's just that tanky. Ow. I would say if it's easier or harder than the actual boss of the map. It's definitely easier to kill the map boss than the essence. Man, look how the burning degen is just shredding my totems. And part of this is because we are missing ironwood. Ironwood, very, very important. It gives resist and a lot of life to your totems. There, we can just leave. You could ring, I mean, nope. Pretty okay helmet, but again, we're not going to keep that. Now, we could unveil that actually. Did I have Jen in my hideout? I haven't invited her yet. So, Kirak will sell you a bunch of maps. So here is like Bone Crypt, Scriptorium, Grotto. Kirak's Grotto is just like slightly more rarity. And an Infested Valley. So for example, I can now buy this Infested Valley for 4 chance orbs. And
how's the trail?
I can run maps through Kirak. So if I run, let's see, this is a good example. This is what I run actually.
Card in the region in question.
So,
don't ask me how they figure these things
hold
out.
on, if I can make him stop talking. That thing that I just showed, that contains a full stack of divination cards. That's really nice. You can go to a website made by one of my community members, Mariners, divcards.io, and you search for the map. So in this case, we would search for Infested Valley. It doesn't have a very, very good divination card, but sometimes, like for example, if it was Terrace, Courtyard, etc., this could just straight up give us a full 6 link just from running that map. So that's the #1 thing I'm always looking at the start of a league, is contains full stack of divination card in a map that has good divination cards. And in start, yeah, you just gotta look them up each time, and eventually you'll figure out what are good ones and what are things you don't care about. But very, very worth it. And then once I launch one of those hero maps, he'll reset his entire shop. So you'll be able to use the rest of your chance orbs and see what else he has that you need. And you can just hold Alt down on the maps and buy the ones that you need. So Kirak is a huge part of actually like exploring the Atlas. Care priority, Kirak div full stack on map, Kirak pushes map. Well, I always do Kirak full divs card as long as the map has good div cards. So I look that up. If not, I don't care that much. And I do, whenever I'm like running out of maps, I'll run a Kirak map so that it resets his shop and I can buy more. And early on, I'm trying to get like, I want as many chance orbs as I can early. So fuses are good for that because there is, I'm going to show that after this. But the vendor in Act 10 can like convert currency for you, so you can buy like fuses, turn into chance orbs, etc. Very, very useful early because I don't care that much about links on this build. We get a free 6 thing from divination cards. I can use my fuses, turn them into chance orbs, and then just buy more maps and shit like that. Oh no. Stupid ghost. This is a little bit of an annoying area because it's so much damage over time. Obviously, we don't have a lot of damage over time protection yet. We do get some later. And that's why I really love getting as much regen as I possibly can on this build.
My spirit is
Once
spent.
those 3 are out, the rulist spawns. Now. An annoying boss early on because of all the damage over time. And once you get something like 700 life regen, I think the most I've had was 1200 on a champion, but anywhere from like 300 up gets pretty respectable. Now. Yeah. You can if I like, so right now I don't, oh, this is best case scenario. So it resets its mission whenever, I think it's once you get like 4 completion or 3 completion. It does reset pretty early for free as well. But right now it put Orchard full stack in here.
How's the trade?
And this is the number one thing. So now there's a big chance that I just straight up get a full-on sixling from that. And that would be huge. I wouldn't be able to use it right now because we don't have dread essences. And crafting on this bow requires dread essences because it's too low item level to hit naturally. +2. It's item level 64. Also, this map has chains. It's very rippy. I would be very, very careful while running this in hardcore. I would still run it because the full stack on an orchard is so big. But orchard almost always has porcupines, which is a lot of people really, really hate that monster. Really want to make sure they have a granite. Jade's really, really good too for this, but we don't have one at the moment. Right now, we're just hoping that we see a full stack of porcupine cards. The number one thing we want here. Don't want to do too long in maps either. Obviously, we could go forever here, but so like a little bit of like getting into maps. This build doesn't have like a big transition period or something. It's just sort of like, okay, I finished the campaign, now I start playing maps. It's really, really nice. And I will have maps videos about like how I'm gonna do my Atlas skill tree and what my plan is. And obviously it changes throughout the entire league, so it's just sort of like a starter thing. Just change the entire time. Let's pick up a lot of blackstone whetstones as well. That you can turn those into glass blower bubbles. We did get the mission. It is sadly a sacrifice fragment. Once you get 4 different ones of these, the dusk, dawn, noon, and midnight, you're able to fight one of the endgame bosses called Edziri. We're still going to kill... You would actually full clear these maps because you really, really want a porcupine. It normally takes me less than 11 hours, 10 or 11 hours at league start to get a full sixling from farming div cards. Probably a bit longer for most people because I do play pretty fast. Not the div card we want. So she's very, very scary. She's a degen boss. Just gotta break her line of sight. The Vision of Justice. Hey, where's Zara? What'd you do to him? Alright, Astral Plate. So we will pick up every 6 socket and render that, just because it gives 7 jewelers. And would like, normally we would go through the map and kill everything, hope that I get a porcupine. Right now we're just gonna leave out. We're just going for some quick completion. So now we do have a guaranteed essence. So every map that I open up now is going to have an essence in it. It's not guaranteed that it's a good one or something you need. And then everything from the vendor now is reset, so I can now buy a shrine map. 2 unique bosses, sure. And then you see you have dailies here, so I can put Einar on and hope that I get some good bestiary stuff. See, we can remove Fury Bolts because these aren't super important right now and would rather have Surveillance, and more importantly, we really want Panopticon. The huge node. Can't really get it until we get 2 more skill points, but we normally would have it by now because normally we're missing 4 skill points. You would be a lot stronger at this point and have a 5th totem. There's the essence. So technically you could just leave after getting it and you just hoard the essences like that. And once you have all the nodes, as a quick example of what you can customize in the skill tree is first you can do the fact that they can spawn all the way up to shrieking. So that's like quite a lot higher tier than the essence that we are at right now. And then you can have that if there's 1 shrieking in the essence, it doubles all the essences. And the fact that it spawns more and more, and it just really adds up. So you have so much like choice over how you want to run things. Man, those are chunky. Cinder Elementals. Here's a Dunes map, so it's a tier 2. So we're just right now the way you want to like, oh god, right now the way you want to like expand your atlas is, you know, you're holding alt and going like, okay, I haven't done this one, let's go get the completed objective bonus on it. And the way that works is on a normal map, so a white map, that's what these are called, it's just about doing them blue. And on a yellow map, so that's tier 6 and higher, you have to alchemy them and then complete it. And on the red maps, they have to be alchemied but also corrupted by a Val Orb. And that can change the map quite a lot and make it crazy rippy. So it's pretty hard to get your red completion early on. You know, require a lot of Val Orbs and maybe a lot of like dropping multiple maps because it might change the maps into other ones, etc. Val Orbs are very unpredictable. And then you also get to pretty early fight like a bunch of bosses. And some of the early bosses are like tutorial bosses that like very, very fast will go down. They don't have a lot of HP. Boom. Ow. Dropping a lot of stuff. You notice I'm pretty safe just by moving through the monsters. Also, normally I would have determination, which made me quite a lot tankier. Probably wouldn't be running Skeeterbots at this point. I'll see. I might be running Life Tap too and have a Jade Flask. I don't know. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. Very, very soon to League start. And obviously it'll take quite a long time until there are more things to explain in maps. So we'll probably wrap it up after this map. We'll do like a quick explanation of where we would be going next and what it would look like. Obviously like the Atlas, I'll make a video for that. Right, Twin Boss. I'll turn off determination, just have more mana. Ow. Might have to pour it out to get flasks here. Stupid arc build. They're killing my totem so fast too because we don't yet have Ironwood, which we would be getting. I think we would already have that now. Go get some mana flasks real quick. That'll do. The recipe in some maps, as you can see here as well. They do down pretty fast. They'll go even faster once you have taunt and things like that and actually ascend. To get Uberlam, the fourth we don't have even have a third one yet, but to get a fourth one, how that works is you just need an offering. You don't need any other map trials anymore. They do only spawn once you're tier 6 and above, but that's another thing that's really easy to get through Keurig. He can just give you, hey, this map contains an offering, or like a lab trial. So look out for those, but also doing things like Ritual can give you the offerings. So there's no more trial RNG. It's just, you just need one. And then yeah, we would be like expanding through our Atlas and going through here. Make sure you use like good use of like buying and using chance orbs, or you can share map completion with other players. Hope everybody enjoyed the everything explained. Please let me know some feedback. Do you want me to do maps? Do you want me to go even further? Obviously it's like kind of limited. It would be hours until there's like more crazy stuff to explore. It would just be like mapping. So I don't want to make these too long either, but yeah, let me know the feedback and how this everything explained was, or anything I can make better for the next one. That's like 3 months away. So thanks for watching. Sorry if you liked the video. Say something cool in the comments. Say giraffe in the comments if you're actually watching at the end. I don't know. Anyway, try to die less than I do.